Okay, so if there's anyone on the phone that wishes to comment on any of the discussion items here, please unmute your phone by hitting *6, and then state your name and where you're from, and you have 3 minutes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, this is Michaela in the auditor's office. I was wondering if in the job description, you included delivery of election equipment, or if that was in the RFP. I didn't see that anywhere.
It's in there, Michaela. It was moving equipment around.
Is it on the,
Yeah, let me look.
is it around the courthouse in general, or
Let's
they
see.
do, our current maintenance team, the 3 of them do the election equipment delivery, pickup and drop off?
It's included.
It's in there somewhere, I found it.
Yeah.
Where
It's
at?
on the job description?
Yeah, no, well, but yeah, let me see, monitor, where is it?
We're still finalizing the job description, but I know it's in the draft version now.
Yep.
And we'll be discussing it in detail later.
Okay, so that will be something that will be included in there?
Yeah, it's in there.
Well, we can't comment on what's gonna be the final version.
Well, she just wants to make sure it's in there, that's all.
Because there's no resolution on the final version. I
She
just wanna
just
make sure
making
that
sure we did
we
it.
understand. Okay, anyone else wish to comment, please hit *6 to unmute your phone. Okay, all right, we'll go ahead and move on to discussion items. The first one is the limit of spaces at the Elderly Services Building for use of county grounds. This came up, a couple members of the public wanted to use, that area to sell cars. And in the past, and these are private sales, not business sales.
Well, they
But in the
did-
past, we,
Well, they have
just,
businesses, like the corn sales, that's a business.
right, but I'm saying for the cars, it's
Oh.
not a business, it's just, private
Years ago,
people.
they would put cop cars on sale, a long time ago.
And in the past, I've seen cars there, and I think it was more of, ask for forgiveness rather than permission. I know in the past, we've allowed the corn sales there, so this has come up a couple times for us to discuss. So I didn't know what you guys wanted, what the process was, what process you wanted,
This
and if
is
we
a
wanted to limit the spaces just a certain amount.
simple fix. First come, first served, they fill out a use of county grounds, and they get the 4 spaces in the corner next to the grass.
4 spaces or 2 spaces?
I don't even think it matters, cause usually they're there in a kind of, I've never noticed that they harm the needle site, because they sit close to the grass and to the front, they can go around. I would say they could, cause we'll say they get the 2 spaces, but somebody might park their car in the other 2. And then a lot of the time, the kids will bring the car to the corn to the car, but, so if we give them 4, then we've kind of covered ourselves, and the outside will know those 4 are just for during sweet corn time, and then we'll just do it first come, first served. If they get their application in first, then they're first,
Okay.
and that's all,
So-
simple.
So we don't, so do we just wanna open it up to everybody, or just
Well,
farm sales, or what do you wanna do?
I would just say agriculture, cause it's always been mostly predominantly corn, cause it's easy to go around.
Correct.
Or they used to be honey producers that would sit next to the corn people, that was fine.
What do you think?
So I think 4 spaces, because I don't wanna limit if there's, say, 2
Right.
vendors that would like to.
Yeah.
To be there, but I like designating the northeasternmost 4
yeah.
spots.
Yeah.
Tammy can concur that would be okay, as long as those other 7 spots are reserved for elderly services.
And have them park closest to the grass, which is fine, that they can get up right up there, and they do, down by the shade too. Yeah, and I would like to limit it, I don't wanna sell used cars and other stuff, I mean, just maybe agriculture.
And do we wanna put a time frame on it, so no
Oh.
longer than, or do we wanna, how do we wanna do that?
Time frame. What if you have apple producers that would wanna sell apple in the fall, or a honey producer when they harvest it?
I mean, it still has to, it's application, so it still has to come before
Yeah,
the board for approval.
They'll have to apply for it.
I didn't know if we wanted to designate that or just kind
No,
of leave it
don't
open
make it
for
hard.
now. Okay.
Just leave it open and they'll apply and they'll fill it out just like they have to the use of county grounds.
Yeah, I like the idea of just have them do an application.
Yeah.
First come, first served, but we can accommodate more than one vendor
If they choose to, I don't,
if they choose.
Depending on the spaces.
Yeah,
So it's so,
up to 2 spots per vendor, maybe we should define that. So that they don't go in and just
but
take
then
all
if
4
you give
spots.
them each 2 spots, then you're gonna have cars parking all over to come in.
yeah, but how busy do you think that will be?
Oh, it gets really busy sometimes.
There's a lot of room in that lot.
Yeah, and usually it's more,
It's
early
usually
in the
quick though,
It's
when they come
quick.
in.
It's
Okay.
quick.
So I would like to limit though, if people just selling their personal vehicles and all that, I don't think that we should allow that.
No.
Okay.
If the sheriff's department wants to sell a vehicle, or if the Winterset Police wants to sell a vehicle, you know, another
Usually we
authority.
blue book that though, we don't sit them out there and park them. And I don't
I've
want,
seen them for sale there before, and I'm saying if
Cop
it's one of our,
Well, they don't need to place an application for that, cause they're a county. But this is just for members of the public, if they wanna use county grounds, they
Let's
have to
limit
submit
it
an application.
limited to agriculture.
Do we wanna limit to agriculture?
yes, but I'm saying if there's a county entity that wants to sell a vehicle,
Oh.
they should be able to put it
Oh,
there
yeah.
to sell.
No, this is just for public use of the grounds that are outside county, cause
Yeah,
it is county grounds,
and
so,
I'd be fine with the limiting to agricultural.
okay.
And then 4 spots is good for both
Yeah.
of you.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm
And
good
absolutely.
with
it's
that.
good for Tammy.
Yes.
Okay.
She's concerned, so.
And then they have to fill out yeah, that's simple, that was an easy one.
Okay, so Michelle, did you get that?
The takeaway is 4 spots maximum.
In the northeasternmost corner of lot, adjacent to John Wayne.
And then,
Limited to ag and, our own personal, our county cop cars if they want, county vehicle.
but that won't come in on a county application
No.
for
No.
grounds use, so that to me
They would
is,
just
does not
use that-
belong
It doesn't belong.
on this.
No.
Okay.
This
thank
is
you.
just for application, if the public wants to use county grounds, they submit an application just like they do for other.
It's
County
first
ground
come,
use.
We
first
don't
served.
limit anything else, I mean,
No.
because
Right.
to me, the discernment happens when you guys look at the application during the meeting.
That's right.
That's how I
Yeah,
look
and
at
they have to
this.
do an application for use of county grounds, period.
But we never defined, is there a duration?
I don't.
And when you say duration, do you mean time of year or day of, time
How
of
long they
day?
can
How
use
long
it.
they can use it, you know, if they submitted their application, then can they reserve it for all summer long? And then nobody else can get that spot because they were first come, first served?
Well, most of ours do say the length of time.
They'll have to disclose that when they apply.
And then we can decide,
And then we can determine.
okay, the
That's
board
what-
can decide.
And you might only get one because I know there's one there and then there's one across the street, so there's a lot of places.
Mhm. Where can the application be found?
online.
It's
It's
online.
I know, I'm asking specifically where on the website so I can tell people.
Oh, it's,
It's
application.
under the board of
It's under,
supervisors.
Board of Supervisors, there's a link that says use of county grounds.
I printed them some off in the office, they were laying on the counter, or they used to be, so you could just hand it to them too.
You just want that clear for everybody?
Okay, all right, so, I mean, I just sent one out the other day. We had someone that wants to use the courthouse steps for the reading of the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, I
So,
send them out a lot.
yeah,
Or I hand, there's some, I think I printed some on the students.
okay, so it sounds like we have a consensus on that. So we'll go on to the next item, the Elderly Services Building, the IAQ Report and RFPs. Hey, Jess, take it away.
Yeah, so, I try to, of course, utilize the Alliance, report to drive this. That was part of the intention of utilizing Alliance to do this testing, because they do a deeper level dive and they also help define that scope so that we can get bids and it's all, defined. Now, there's a few different things to consider here. I know, Heather, you had mentioned, the restoration piece of it. So I tried to craft it, so that basically they're doing all of the mitigation work. But I added it as
Like an option?
an optional, an add-on, but it's quoted separately.
Okay.
if the same companies want to quote, bid it as an alternate for the restoration piece of it.
Okay.
So that part we can still manage manage separately.
Okay,
So if they find mold, the way I read this, they can, if we so choose, they can tear out the wall and mitigate take it out. Are they
Yeah.
going to replace everything? Put the drywall
Well,
back?
that was what we discussed last time, that we would bid that separately. But we'd like to get it all mitigated, anything that has any potential for, mold, moisture, that all of those surfaces are being tore out and replaced. And there are, specific, requirements for the vendors to qualify in different standards for accreditation in order to do so. One of the issues that I need the board to discuss is the contents of the space. So it would behoove us to have all the contents removed. Now, there's a ton of cardboard boxes in there that retain moisture, they return dust.
And are they empty?
No.
And some of them are full of gloves with 6 fingers or fingers.
So
sewn
we've got,
together.
most of it is emergency management stuff. And so it's COVID holdover stuff, it's, there's a lot of literature and things. I have spoken with Mitch and asked, I know he's sensitive to mold. I expressed to him, there's no dangerous mold in there right now. We're being proactive to get ahead of it, because of past moisture issues. And so I think it would behoove us to get all those contents removed before this mitigation. So we're not paying others to do that, of course. But in order to do so, we're gonna need a couple of things. We're gonna need some racks to put some totes for Mitch to store his stuff. We're gonna need to get him out of the cardboard boxes, get it all consolidated to the essentials and what he wants to retain. And I think we should just get some plastic totes to do so, and get them out of the cardboard.
Take them from the public health building.
So I was just there yesterday, and I was only able to secure one. They don't have a bunch of totes there.
There's 3 in the basement.
Well, I was in the basement with Thaddeus and.
No, in the courthouse. I brought some up for them
Oh,
to
they're
take.
in the basement of the courthouse.
Yeah, and Mitch knows this. He can have those totes.
Okay, where are they at in the courthouse?
On the table in the basement. All that
Okay.
stuff is for.
I'll go grab those. And so what I'm trying to do, and I'm going to work with Mitch to get all the contents consolidated and moved out. Now, there are some racks, in the basement of the public health building. Several of them are, I think, too narrow to hold totes. But a couple of them we could butt up against each other, make them a little bit wider to handle the length of a tote. There are some bigger ones, that would handle totes. There's 3 larger, wider ones.
The ones in the middle.
Yeah, on the, directly under the stairs when you go down. But they're wood. And so we would need somebody to knock them out. They are nailed together, not screwed. We need somebody to break these down.
is there any reason why we just can't move things in there right now as a temporary measure?
Well, then you have to
The
move
racks
them out
are there.
again. Jess, some of that.
I'm trying to figure out where we would move them to, because now this other space of the warehouse is, we need to kind of reconfigure that, and it'd be great if we could just have the walls lined with some racks to put the storage items.
Well, the other option is mitigate it, is do away with any potential, organic material at all, and just get metal racks.
Take the metal racks from the middle of the
Right.
basement in the public health.
That could be considered
Take
office
those.
supplies and
Those metal racks are not gonna hold totes.
It had heavy.
They'd all have to be sideways, and it's not an efficient use of space. The metal ones they're not like heavy duty. The ones in the middle there, they're not heavy duty for this. The wood ones would work, but it's a porous material.
so I'm thinking, they sell metal racks, and we can use that, just take it out of office supplies, out of either his budget, or I don't know where we take it out, but we take it out of his budget. But it would be metal racks, and that would deal with any future issues. I appreciate reusing stuff, but I don't wanna have a problem down the road. And and if we're gonna put this somewhere where it's not necessarily temperature controlled, I think metal would probably be the safest. But that's just
I
me.
agree, cause that's one of the concerns in that warehouse area as well, is, there's no, HVAC serving the warehouse space. It's something that we can consider for future is maybe just adding some ventilation, to that. Now the doors are, we open the doors of conservation if they're going in and out. But conservation being there is a shorter term thing until they get a building built.
They don't have a building.
I understand that, but they've discussed, adding a shed to the new conservation site so that they can store this stuff and not have to store it here. But that's gonna be
That's down the line.
a ways out. So, I am fine with exploring racks, and I'll see what totes we have available and see how many we're gonna need additionally. I think once Mitch and I work together to get all those contents consolidated, a lot of the flyers and pamphlets and all that, they're outdated anyway. I think they're just gonna have to be disposed of.
I
And
think
of course-
any of the stuff, when I met with the state, with Mitch, they suggested, like, all of the chainsaws, we just can't sit on this stuff. And so now Mitch has given that to the fire departments and other entities. There's a lot of gloves, I believe, probably some of that stuff.
I think a lot of that,
It was
material
donated.
just have to.
Garage sale it or haul it to the curb. Haul it to the curb, you legally relinquished ownership, and if somebody steals it, it's on them. I don't know what else to do with some of it, and the paper stuff, it stinks, a lot of it stinks, it needs to be
I think we just
disposed of.
need to be.
We threw it away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I walked through it with Thaddeus, and a lot of that stuff is gonna be thrown away. I don't think we're gonna have a lot of totes filled, and I don't think we're gonna need, at most, I think we'll need one single metal rack, at most. Because there's not a lot of stuff in there right now. Now, if you and Mitch wanna, take that on and get a metal rack where he can put whatever he needs in there, in the warehouse portion, I think that's fine. What do you think?
Well, I think call the other departments, and if there's anything they want, if they want those gloves out of conservation or the secondary roads, let them. If they don't, get rid of it, and I agree, I don't think you're gonna have enough stuff once you clean that up.
So you're saying get rid of all of the gowns, all the other stuff? I don't think Mitch is gonna necessarily wanna do that.
You can ask Mitch, because we got rid of the gowns that were out of the public health. They are the open back gowns, and EMS said no to them, and they are pink and yellow, and, there were 8 boxes, so I called the state. and
Maybe
they said,
another box of rags?
No, they're disposable.
Oh, they're disposable.
So
Yeah.
I called the state, and they said, give them to veterinarians or the ARL, which I did. So they're already out of there.
Yeah, so I already got a lot of the water moved out, and anything that's expired, I donated to that clinic. The water that wasn't expired, I donated to Azria. There's still some more left. but
Yeah, not a lot.
Not a lot.
Call the Boy
I've got
Scouts
out
and
there.
have
There was
water
an entire
plants.
pallet, and they were all different bottles falling everywhere, so I've got that shrunk down. But like there's N95 masks, there's things of that nature that I don't know if we're necessarily just gonna.
There's
give away.
probably 10 boxes of those out at, public health still, in the shed.
Oh, which means they could be compromised.
I wouldn't keep them, the vets
Yeah.
would not take them, EMS will not take them.
I don't think we should keep anything that is any kind of organic material. Personally, from a safety standpoint, I think we should get rid of all organic material.
Okay.
And then anything that can be cleaned or it's less chance of any kind of contamination, we can consider. You can consider, Mitch can consider, but anything organic, I think we just. need to
Again,
dispose
if you
of.
don't want a landfill bill, haul it to the curb, maybe a car painter would.
Well.
If they steal it, no, if once it's relinquished, then you've relinquished ownership, and it's on them. So, it's on them, if they take
I think
it,
it'd be safer if we just dispose of
I
it.
think it matters. I think they let somebody, if they wanna take it, let them take it.
So, I think we have consensus that we don't want it. How we dispose of it, we don't yet have
And I
consensus
just
on
needed
that,
to know
but,
on the racking
Yeah.
and how we're gonna fund that, to pay for that. But
So
I-
he does have, Mitch has
There was
office
so
supplies in
many
his
shows.
budget. So we could probably pull it out of there, talk to Mitch about that.
Okay.
And if we only end up needing one rack, a good metal rack will probably cost you under $100.
Ask Mitch to go ask out at secondary roads and see if they would give up one of the big heavy metal racks, because the day we opened it up, I'll tell you, anybody could have come and got this, they took all those metal racks. Conservation board, snooze you lose, but he got one,
Okay,
so you might ask Mike if they give up one, I don't know,
so,
and those are deep, heavy metal racks.
Okay, so, and then back to the RFP. The other thing that, a concern area of mine, and I'd like to do, a little bit more digging, I went out to identify the age of that furnace, so that filter was left for so long that it was getting sucked into the coil, and it was,
oh, geez.
I mean, it was inches thicker with stuff. So I would like to consider replacing that furnace at minimum. Now, the condensing unit outside is, that's newer. That's been replaced since
Have you
2020.
had somebody come in and look at the furnace, to see if it truly needs replacement or no?
No, but I didn't have the tools to remove the panels to get the model and serial number to identify what age it was.
Okay.
So at minimum, we're gonna need to have the ductwork and that, all of that cleaned, of
Mhm.
course, as part of that. And that's what I've got in the RFP right now.
Okay.
However, if we're talking about a furnace that's 20 years old,
Don't clean it.
why would we invest in cleaning it? It just needs to be replaced. Again, that condensing unit, I think, is gonna be fine. It's only, 6 years old. So,
And this is the furnace that serves the entire building?
no,
No, it's just the
it
back.
just serves the offices that we're talking about here in the back.
Oh, okay, so they have two separate units in that building?
Completely different air system.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, they lived out there, I mean, slept out.
I didn't realize that the building had two, one for the elderly services and one for the other side. Okay, okay. Well, this is kind of your valley, you would know.
Yeah, and I went out again this morning, I'm like, I didn't have the tools to get into that panel for this system, so.
Okay, well, I mean, we can certainly consider that. I mean, if we don't have to replace it, I'd rather not.
Yeah,
That could be something we could budget for down the
I
line.
think it's working okay, and we, the way that this is rated, or, is laid out, basically, it's included to just get all those components clean, and the ductwork clean is part of it. The filter has been changed, so at least there's a clean filter in there now. The other thing that I had included was a contingency, 20% held out for final payment until we get, the environment retested after the
After
mitigation.
Okay.
And so
I think that's
we
a
just
good
wanna
idea.
make sure we get a clear test, after the work is completed, before we release final payment, if that's okay with the board.
That's fine.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Did you ladies have any other thoughts on this, how this RFP is written in, because we need to talk about the timeline, I know, but any, aside from the timeline?
Well, so is it your intent to have this, approved next week,
Yes,
or consideration for approval on resolution
Yes.
next week? I mean, the timeline itself, overall I think it's fine.
it's not,
The
it's
only,
tight,
it's very tight.
it's very tight.
It's very tight. Looking at it, I don't think we can make it tighter. The one thing I'd like to consider is, I'm wondering if concurrent with this, we should put out an RFP for, what it would cost to build the offices, all that kind of stuff. Because because the project starts June 8th, it's not gonna be done until the end of June. And then we're gonna start,
So here's my concern with that, and that's what I prefer to do as well. The concern being is what if they get in there and they take out more, drywall than we thought? And the people who are bidding for the restoration, if they're bidding on something and then that changes and they take out more of the mitigation than we planned,
well, I don't know if we're gonna be using the same footprint, because when I walked it with Thaddeus, he was thinking of, butting it out, taking part of that kitchen part.
okay, so is now the time you wanna talk about that?
Well,
Because we need to talk about that.
right, so the thing is that if we do a concurrent RFP this, and then a concurrent RFP of what our grand plan is to have offices there, an ADA bathroom there, and a conference room there, it's not gonna fit in the existing footprint. You're gonna have to, at the minimum, you're gonna have to bust out walls. And the bathroom right now is on the other side of the warehouse, which is not conducive if we haven't, if we have folks that are ADA crossing, going through all the conservation equipment that may be parked there to get to that bathroom.
Okay, I think there's a way to consolidate, ensure the conservation equipment is kept near the overhead doors, and that there's a clear path. We could even paint a clear path to that restroom. We're gonna have a increased cost moving a bathroom over that other space where there's not currently a bathroom. So they're gonna have to tie into all the plumbing, they're gonna have to tie into all of that stuff. It's gonna be a lot more costly to add a bathroom in that warehouse than using the existing bathroom location. So that is what I expressed to Thaddeus. I said, he's talking about changing the design use of this building, and that's going to be a lot more costly. Let's talk about the offices. The offices right now, they are plenty sufficient size-wise for his needs. There's currently 3 smaller offices, one of them separated by this temporary wall. You take that wall out, give him bigger space there. You could actually take, I should probably draw, but, you could actually remove you could open up that, let me see, it's the westernmost office that has its own entrance. You could take out those walls, separating that from the 2 smaller offices, and have a bigger office with so he'd have room for a conference room table in there, or the other office that's currently smaller office, it's off of the main entry, let's call it reception. That space is big enough for a conference room and a table as well. When he had indicated knocking out walls and adding a space for Mitch in the other area, I mean, that is far more extensive than what we were originally talking about.
Okay.
What if you mitigate the mold, fix the roofs? That needs to be done to protect the front half of that building. Again, it would be cheaper to pay off the bridge loan at conservation, to keep that old building.
You know that bridge loan's $200,000? I don't think
No,
it's gonna cost.
he said it's gonna go down, with all of his pledges and all of the money out there, he thinks it's about 60,000.
Well,
Then we'd own it, and that would be I would think you could ask for a team building, ask people to come together, and they'd remodel that for the veterans. Cause you
so,
can circle drive right up there, go in,
well,
How big is that building?
it has a
I've talked to
huge.
Thaddeus, he doesn't want that building.
Well, he needs to look at it, I think this is gonna be really
He
expensive.
thinks it's too far out, he likes being within the city limits. And he says the cost to put a, cement pad out.
It has a cement pad, it's all cement,
Okay, so.
he's
we
never
can-
been out there,
Okay,
Yeah, he told me it was rock.
it's not
Parking.
rock, I drove there again last night, I've been there, it's got a great big garage, even if they wanted to, they could drive into the garage. It's
so
got-
when I asked, our conservation director at our last meeting where we're at, and he said we're at 214,000. So
Steve
that,
thinks that's gonna be down to about the 60 he thought.
okay, so do we know when that will happen?
No, we'd have to talk with Steve.
Okay, so we can't plan on it's gonna happen because it was supposed to be happening already, it should have been paid off by now.
It's a
And
good
we've extended it
thought
1 year
though.
already.
I don't think it would be an expensive building, it's got a lot of windows.
I like the building, we could put it on, I think it'd be great, but the expense, we have the additional expense of that, and
But
keep
we'd
it,
still own it.
but keep in mind though, when we did the nature center, part of the agreement
To
was,
sell the building.
is to sell
But
the
we
building.
own the building, and if we pay off the bridge loan, we could do that, we still own it.
Yeah, so instead of
Retain
selling
ownership.
2 buildings, we'd be selling 1 building, cause we were supposed to sell the building and pay it off, and do away with all the, the costs for maintenance and all that kind of stuff. I'm not opposed to doing that, I think it'd be nice and quiet, which is what the veterans have asked for, or Thaddeus has asked for, but he indicated he wasn't interested, so I was kinda going by what he said.
He's
I don't-
changed many times. I
Right.
think, Jess, the thing about the back of the old ambulance shed, is we need to be very careful what we disturb back there, because that was a garage. And years ago, we paid a pretty hefty fine for, it was a garage, yes.
But it was remediated, according to the documentation we
But
have.
if you have any leakage at all, they're going to come in and they would make you
Leakage of
remove
what?
every drop of soil. It's got oil back.
No, they
Yes, it does.
emptied it, according to documentation, it was
And they
emptied.
backfilled it with
And they
the
backfilled
concrete
it.
sludge.
Go look on the back.
Thaddeus and I actually looked at that, it is basically the pipe in the wall, it doesn't connect to anything, it's literally the pipe. And he thinks that gunk in there was never cleaned out when they cleaned out the
I
tank.
think you'd have less money and a better building if we do kind of review that. He's never been out there. And it might be
I'm open to that
cheaper
because
than the old-
one of my
because-
heartburns with, now, I think the elderly services, the back of the elderly services, I think, from the beginning, I thought it'd be a perfect space for them if we remodeled it, okay? And it gives them the privacy, we have the ADA compliant, all that. But I'm open to that, to exploring that, because my heartburn and my concern is, having to wait through this entire RFP process, the entire restoration process before we move it. That's concerning to me as well, versus if we did consider that option, we could start remodeling that if needed, or any modifications if they were needed, or they could just move, is it move-in ready for them?
I think it hadn't been there in a while, but I
Well,
think it is,
Oh, if they could, well,
because they used to have office, I mean,
I would
conservation
wanna
had
paint it.
offices.
You'd have to maybe change that front door so it's handicapped. I don't know if it is.
Is
the
the
back-
bathroom ADA?
No, and that, but that would not be a hard fix. I think you've been out there. That would not be too expensive, I don't think.
She talking to.
Rick, he's been out
Oh.
there. I don't think that would be too hard. One thing, we did write in our resolution that we can't list the public health building until they're all moved out. That is in our resolution.
It is?
Yes,
I don't
it is.
think it is, I don't,
Yes,
that
it
was one
is,
that you
Heather.
put before.
It
That was the
is,
one
and we
were
all
supposed to
signed
approve.
it. I will bring it up.
Would you like me to look it up?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't recall, but, I can.
I know we had a resolution to approve that,
The
and we
sale
didn't.
process will commence once the public health board deems all offices have been relocated to new sites. So he can't,
The public health board, he's not on the public health board.
Yeah, but it says, the sale process will commence once public health board deems all offices have been relocated to new office
And the
sites.
public health board doesn't have authority over his office.
That's what it says, so if they're not moved, so he can't sell this until he's told that the offices are moved, and you were
Public
so,
health board has only authority over their offices. They
you
can't
were
tell
so
them-
concerned about having them out there and showing the building.
Yeah.
So, we haven't moved them yet,
All
we're
right, well,
not
let's-
showing them,
then
it's
let's
not
move
even
on.
listed.
Here's the concern, Diane, our budget was approved assuming the building would be sold by the end of June. So because we reduced costs for utilities, reduced costs for internet, we reduced all those costs. So we keep kicking the can down the road, and I think we just need to pull the trigger.
How are you gonna pull it, what are you pulling the trigger on?
We need to get them moved.
Where are you gonna move them?
Well, the original conversation was the courthouse, and he
And
doesn't
then you
want it over
took that
here.
away from
I
them
didn't
though.
take it away.
Well, you did, then you said, somebody said, well, then the assessor wanted that, so that was
I did
confusing
not
with
take,
Thaddeus.
I did not take, Thaddeus and I talked about this. So, the assessor has expressed a desire to move to the courthouse. It actually in our office, the one we currently have.
Then move, do it, start doing this.
And then that, we never took away the option to move into the old election office for Thaddeus. That was always on the table. He's the one that expressed that he didn't want to move it there. So-
Our office is too small for Sean because he
I
can't
say,
have
when
it
did
all.
Sean say that? Cause
He
he,
was at one of our assessor board meetings.
oh, cause
you weren't there.
no, I'm sure I wasn't,
Yeah.
but my last conversation was the auditor's office is where he's desired.
The old auditor's office.
Correct, that's,
Yes.
so are we good, or is the board of supervisors?
Well, the board of supervisors determines that. This was a desire he expressed to the assessor board that they would like to do that.
To move to the auditors, the old auditor's
old
office?
auditor- the old
Okay, good,
auditor's
cause I
office.
thought you just said.
Not your, I'm sorry, the old auditor's office.
Correct, but I thought you just said
to the
He
board
wanted to move
office.
to the Board of Supervisors office,
That's
that where
what
you
you just
currently
said.
are now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Okay,
misspoke.
thank
That's
you,
my
I'm
fault.
sorry, I just,
misspoke.
I hope you don't mind me, I was like,
No,
I'm so
I
confused
misspoke.
right now.
I am
So no, he had
Thank
expressed
you.
to move to the old auditor's office. And then they would have, veterans at the elections office, so he would have his own office per se. But this is, I expressed to him, like, the board hasn't really decided yet, there's a lot of moving parts. We were talking about the elderly services building, we were willing to consider that. And I still, regardless of what we decide, I think we still need to remediate, the building, and address the issues with the building that have been left, not taken care of for years. So, right now, the board has decided to move the public health building, or sell the public health building. So how do we get the folks moved out? DHS has expressed desire, they wanna be in the courthouse because it's closer to their clients. It also has a ICN node there, which is they're required to be on. So it's a simple move for them, we just need to find a space for them. But the issue now here is the VA, where do we move them that can accommodate their needs the best?
So move the VA to the old auditor's office, done deal, just, that's where it's gonna happen, if that's what you wanna do. And then, cause you're gonna sell that public health building. Then put DHS out there, cause they're already together. Sean
where?
can stay where he's
Out
at.
where, Diane?
DHS is already out at the public health building. They don't have much, they have a desk and a
Oh, I know
couple.
you
where
said
would we
put 'em-
move?
Oh,
put 'em
wait a
out
minute,
there.
they could go in the old auditor's office, there's enough room in there for DHS, cause they're not there permanent, they're there a day a week or something. So they could have one of those spaces. Leave Thaddeus up there, he used to be in the third floor of the courthouse for years. And so put them there, spend minimum amount of money on that old building, mitigate mold, 100% agree, that conservation board use it for storage, let Mitch use it for storage, and probably leave it alone. Sean can stay where he's at, I think, fix it down real quick, I think it's been okay
I believe
now.
that Sean needs an office. He manages people, he doesn't have a walled office.
I think you could build walls in there pretty cheap.
I know you could. You
Yeah.
could absolutely build walls for him there.
Yeah.
But also, it seems like it's a good configuration for the assessor's office to have the old auditor's office, except Michelle's old office, which could be HHS, right?
DHS should go in there, yeah. Or they could have any of the size, it doesn't matter, they can decide that.
Now, Mitch could, way back when, I was thinking that this space at Elderly Services would be perfect for Mitch, those offices, because it puts him in close proximity with the sheriff's department that he collaborates with a lot. He'd be near all this stuff that is stored, so that's certainly an option, but here we are, we're back to the original root question of where are we gonna move Veterans Affairs. I'm open to exploring that other building,
He was
the-
okay with that at first, and then it was kind of pulled off the table, if I remember.
No, it's always been on the table, that the board hadn't made a decision yet. So I think that Thaddeus has expressed a desire to move once.
I don't blame him, because he and I moved the first time, and it was
Right.
horrible.
It was, yes, he told me he was given literally 24 hours
He
notice.
was, and he and I carried all that
Which
stuff
was
out.
completely wrong. Anyway, so, I don't wanna revisit that, and I assured him that that would not happen again. Ideally, it's two moves, move to the courthouse, and then if we end up doing the elderly services building, or we end up doing the conservation building, I don't know, but I'm trying to figure out how to accommodate it, and the window's quickly closing to where we can do that.
well, the conservation, I haven't walked the conservation building, and if it's move-in ready, aside from some paint,
Oh, well, I don't know.
Well, it's
I-
not, it doesn't have an AD accessible bathroom.
how extensive would it be to make it accessible? I mean, is it,
I don't know,
okay,
I haven't been out there in a while.
You'd have to-
okay.
But that brings us back to my original question is, if we decide to use the elderly services building and make it to where it can accommodate offices, whether it's for Veterans Affairs or Mitch or whatever, to do a concurrent bid, RFP, to get a bid for how much it would cost to make that building that way. Now, we're not required as a board to accept any bids, and that should be in the RFP, that it's up to the board to decide if we're gonna do it and not do it. But I'm wondering if we need to do a concurrent bid process with the mediation to see how much it would actually cost to do what we wanna do. And to your point about the bathroom, I think it would be good to get at least two options. You know, the least expensive option to provide that, you know, you reuse, make the existing plumbing work, versus having something right there, you know. To
I
where
don't
you
want
can
them to walk across the warehouse.
I just don't know if that's, I don't think we should do that.
I don't either, I don't think it's safe, they don't need to be in that part.
Yeah, I would rather have it all enclosed in one space to where you have offices, conference room, and an ADA accessible bathroom. It's shut off from the warehouse, so, you know, if they wanna have a window to look out, that's fine. But right now, there's a door and you have to walk all across that. I just think, especially for our handicapped veterans, I think that might be a bigger ask. So, I'd rather, I mean, we could bid it out 2 versions, decide, and that at least would be my preference. And then if we can make it to where it's, hey, it's only gonna cost an extra, I don't know, $5,000, $6,000, make it all close, I mean, that would be worth it to me. While we're all considering these other things. At this point, I don't think we're at the point to where we can avoid 2 rooms. If we wanna give Thaddeus the space he wants, I don't know if we can do that before June 30th. Can we try? Absolutely. I wanna be able to do that.
The only way I see doing that is if he goes to the conservation area building. And then
we
to
just-
move once as far as
And then he's
that.
in the middle of construction to make sure that ADA. that
Yeah, but
happens ADA.
that's risky business, cause we don't know exactly how much that bridge loan is. Cause we could end up paying.
Right, the bridge loan is $214,000 right now. I talked to the bank. It's an annual thing right now, so, the interest is due in October. We can certainly renew that another year. That would be something we'd have to discuss with them, but we've already
It's not in
renewed
the
it
budget.
once.
No,
You didn't put
we
that
didn't
interest in the
budget
budget.
Cause you didn't put the sale of the building as revenue in your budget.
Well, you wouldn't wanna do that anyway.
No. we
But
wouldn't
my
do that anyway.
point is, you
But
would
no,
probably do a budget amendment maybe.
The bridge loan is in there under 99. So, yeah, it's not.
But to renew
To renew it, yes,
That's my
we'd have to
point.
talk about that, because it would renew it in fiscal 27. But right now, it's in there, so we're fine right now in the fiscal 27 budget, but if we wanna renew it to go into fiscal 28, that'd be something we'd have to discuss. The other option is, I mean, the construction was kind of was dependent on the sale of the public health building. Okay, we approved the sale in November, it is now May, nothing's been done. So, the other option is if we wanna do this and have them in there until it's done, then we would have to come up with the funding to pay for that construction. We could always do another bridge loan, pay for that, and then pay that off when the building's sold. But again, that's not the ideal situation. Right now, we have empty offices in the courthouse. And what I would like to do is do what most families and businesses do. You do what you gotta do, and then when the money comes in, you do what you really wanna do. It's not ideal, and I don't know, and when I talked to Thaddeus about this, he did say that his preference is to move once. And I said, the only way to do that is if we figure out a way to provide the funding to do the construction before the building's sold, and that would be a board decision.
Get in the courthouse, leave in there, put DHS in there. Sean, our office is way too small for Sean.
You think so?
Yeah, because he doesn't have the vault.
Or a room, or an office.
There's no office in ours.
I think that was just a misstatement. I mean, she's talking about the old auditors.
He wanted the auditors.
Yeah. He wanted the old auditor.
And if he only took up to where the conference room would be, then your DHS could go in where like Emily and Lance used to sit.
Yes.
Boom, you've occupied now 2 spots.
Then you still don't have anywhere for Thaddeus.
For Thaddeus.
Correct.
But then that would give Sean, where would his private office be?
Sean would
my
stay
old
here.
office.
In her old office.
No, in her
office.
role.
Okay, I thought we were talking about.
So here's the thing though, is that not all our department heads have private offices. And if you go to other counties, they don't have private offices either. So that is a luxury that, you know, we can offer some of our department heads and not all counties do. That they use when they have to meet privately, they go to conference rooms.
And there would be a conference room here, but the situation that he's in now, with that open
Yes.
wall,
He would have to come down here to talk to somebody.
it's not conducive to.
That was
understanding
not
people.
his office. His office was the other side of the, treasurer's office. And the treasurer, a while ago, had a see fit, and so wanted that side, so they moved the assessor over. See, he did have the other side of where.
Oh, that had a private office.
Yes, that's how that was originally set up, and then that big room where he's at was to be used for conference or, which would have been handy, cause it's on the main floor.
Okay.
Well,
So
if
that's
we're gonna
how
be
it was.
segmenting it off to where Michelle's old office, designated, but then we're segmenting it off, the previous election deputy area, that window there, I mean, you can make a private office right there.
Move Sean back where he was in the beginning. See if, could you go back in the original half of your side and let Sean have the other side?
No.
No,
Sorry.
it won't work, okay.
We have so much stuff.
Too much stuff.
So.
Yeah, they're using that space.
I'm not trying to be mean, but.
No,
like,
I don't care,
No, no, no.
I was just throwing it, see
So
if it
what,
sticks,
what,
okay?
what if
Ugh.
Sean
Okay.
moves to
Yeah.
the old auditor's office, we can move into his old office here. And that frees up our office for somebody.
Who though? Our office is the least
It
conducive for
could be
anybody.
it could be DHS.
They can have Sean's off, they could share, oh,
I have a
VHS.
comment about that. I'm just letting you know, I don't know what your plans are, but I am currently connected to Sean's office, and he will agree with this also. You can talk in a normal voice, I will be able to recite everything that you say.
That's why it was originally a
walls are thin.
that's why
Right,
it was
And you can
originally
hear
empty.
everything, so if our office is busy and loud,
Yeah.
and you guys are trying to do something over there, you're not gonna get anything done. It's loud.
Well, the thing is we're not in our offices all the time, so. we're-
Right, I get
so-
that, I'm just
so-
letting you know, it's not quiet.
That's good to know, but I think if we need to do something,
And
we
you'll
can
have
always
to
come down here.
And you'll have cold and hot, so.
And
Yeah,
cold and
it's a
hot.
Just letting you know.
Yeah.
That's why it was left empty originally.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, but I think for the department that would be least impacted by that inconvenience would be us.
We could practically move anywhere as far as that goes, we don't need a lot of space.
We need a desk.
We're
that's
only
it.
in there, you know, one of us at a time, and we could potentially even move down here to Mitch's office. Now, that wall you can hear through as well. So anybody in the break room is gonna be able to hear what's going on in their office, just so you know, so if there's anything confidential, you have to go to a different spot, that you're dealing with, but I wouldn't have a problem with that, and we are absolutely the most flexible department.
Then what are you gonna do with our office?
I know what we could always do in that office, we could always just put in a permanent wall, rather than using the folding wall, that won't take that much.
Then what are you
Turn
gonna do
that
with our office?
That would be DHS. It's
But
the-
they're hardly ever there, that's.
They're hardly ever there.
Yeah, I hate designating the whole big space.
The other
up there
option
for
is to
once a
see
week.
if they can move up to either the second or the third floor.
No, those are court systems.
Well, third floor isn't.
Yes, it
Second floor,
is.
that's county attorney.
No, you're not gonna get the third floor.
Because remember, we used to have those offices up there and they were taken over,
Yep.
so we can take them back. I mean, it was happened it predated me, but it
Me
used to
too,
be,
but,
it used
well,
to be,
no,
we used to have everyone in the courtroom, in the courthouse.
that's
We used to have
correct,
everyone in the courthouse, so.
before they bought this building.
Right, so as a board, the board of supervisors can take one of those offices back, because we have authority over the courthouse. So the second floor, yes, that's the state, but the third floor, we can always put DHS, take a small office up there, one of the smaller offices, and have DHS go in there. Because they've expressed their preference to be in the courthouse. And the ICN node's already there.
That's the most affordable option right there.
Yes.
Same.
So if we, I still would like to accommodate Veterans Affairs request to be separate, if we can do that, I just don't think we can do it with just one move at this point.
So maybe.
Now, if Thaddeus ends up liking the courthouse and he wants to stay, then okay, but, I'm not quite sure how to split the baby at this point.
Make a decision. What do you want? You want to give Sean the old auditor's office, do it.
Well, the priority right now is, where to move the Veterans Affairs and how we can shuffle things around in order to accommodate that and accommodate additional department heads' requests. I'd like to do that, but right now the priority is Veterans Affairs.
See if he
So-
take the third floor again where he used to be, in that one corner. See if he take that.
I think we're gonna get a lot of resistance on that.
We are, it's gonna be terrible.
And I think it'd be better for him on the first floor.
He used to be up there, it worked out fine. But I don't think the court said that's not gonna go well. Cause they do actually use those. I've seen the stenographers back in there and,
On the third floor.
yeah, the judges sit back in
Yeah,
there.
I asked about it a while ago, and it's very receptive to.
No,
They were not.
they are
Okay.
not, they use the space, they are not
Okay.
receptive.
Okay. So that leaves just, our office up for grabs, the existing vacant offices, the old auditor's office and the elections office. So there's basically 3 offices that are options for Veterans Affairs in the courthouse.
If Thaddeus would take our office, Michelle, you won't let him have the vault, Joan.
We can't
It has-
do that ship sailed.
It's just-
It's absolutely perfect for,
I know.
I apologize, I mean,
No.
No,
I mean,
I know.
Worst case scenario though, I mean, they can use the conference room to make private calls or have private meetings or anything like that.
And take that counter out, give them a lot more room.
Oh, yeah.
In our office, you're talking about?
Yeah, cause you can't get a picture.
Right.
You can't,
That would be
yeah,
too hard.
we'd have to take that counter out to give them that accessibility, but yeah, then there's a conference room right around the corner.
Yeah.
You could probably,
And then we would move into this building, whether it's in the old assessor's office or, if Mitch eventually goes out to,
where's Mitch going?
I said, if Mitch eventually goes out to the elderly services building after all this stuff, I don't know, but, if there's a concern with privacy in Mitch's office, then we can build a permanent wall rather than having the accordion wall that's there now. I mean, that won't take much.
It really wouldn't.
It would.
There'd be room for 3 desks and file cabinets in there. I'd like to see the conservation building, the old conservation building, and try to get an idea of what all that would take, cause then that would allow us to have one move for the vets. But I mean, our office would work too, I hate to ask them to move twice, but yeah, we're on the gun here for timing. There'd be plenty of room for, 2 desks and a conference room table in there, if you took that counter out.
Joan won't have a private office, so how would you do that?
She would, well, I mean, if she's making, you need to make her scheduling for transportation, she could go into the conference room. But that, again, that would be.
that's out in the conference room with a table and a desk and a computer, and it
Yeah,
really does change the.
She doesn't have a laptop.
Well,
Well,
no,
again, I
she has
mean-
multiple, cause she has big scheduling.
Oh,
She's the one that drives all these vets
right, I
around.
know, I just didn't know it was remote.
She has a full outfitted office.
Yeah,
Okay.
Which she could have if moved into the old auditor's office.
So would you like me to
It'd be
get
in
the
the old,
board
it'd
and,
be in the elections office.
Mhm.
so do you want me to get a board so we can kind of, because I'm,
no,
No,
that's her
no,
board.
I think you should
So,
see if they'll take the old auditor's office, put them in there in DHS, that would work.
and then
Sean,
leave Sean where he's at.
well, I do think that is a cold office, it it is loud, all of that's true,
Cause right now, if he has to have a private conversation, he has to come down here, I'm assuming. So,
would Sean take Mitch's office?
no, that's too small.
That's too small.
I don't like it.
Well, you know, I'm envisioning a phased process here. And the current auditor's office, the old auditor's office could accommodate Veterans Affairs pretty easily just by widening that doorway. It'd be pretty straightforward. We could pretty easily give them private office space. I don't like them not having a handicap accessible bathroom, but maybe they like it there and they.
We could, we have to have a transition plan in place. I actually sent a potential transition plan to the gal that did the ADA assessment to see what her thoughts were on that. She hasn't gotten back to me yet on that.
For what space?
When you have to, anything that's not ADA compliant, you have to have a transition plan of how you're gonna get there. So eventually, we're gonna have to have an ADA bathroom in the courthouse.
No, she said we did not.
When I talked to her, she said we did.
We do not. It's an old historic building. The architects have already said that we will not be able to put a bathroom in there because those are all load-bearing walls and they're curved walls. So what are you gonna knock out? The expense would be astronomical. You would have
When I talked to
15
Rick-
tour buses lined up to use the bathroom all
When I
day.
talked to Rick a while ago, he said it was on the original plan and it was taken out. So,
Because it's so costly.
I understand that, Diane. I'd like to make
In
our.
either way, it's not a phase one.
Correct.
Phase one is not gonna include the bathroom at the courthouse. Hopefully, we can move to that. But we have open space there now that can accommodate the veterans pretty easily.
And there'd be minimal disruption, because we would just transfer his existing phone numbers to the existing, network at the courthouse. It's a simple programming thing. We would coordinate, with solutions to help with the actual physical movement, connectivity and stuff like that. And they'd have no interruption, would not be like what happened at the last time. You just pick up the equipment and plug it in. Now, what I'd like to do is, if that's something we do, is that, we be available to assist with that, to minimize any disruption to the office. So what happened last time does not happen again.
Are you envisioning hiring a moving company for the big
No,
stuff? or are you doing-
I don't know, because I don't think so, but.
I've got that all laid out.
You have it laid out, okay.
I
So-
mean, when we were gonna do this, I don't know, back in January, we had solutions lined up, moving company lined up
For Thaddeus already,
to move, and what we would need to do with the opening.
okay,
We've already got that.
okay, so
Right.
it
You
sounds like
sent
we
that
have,
information to us?
Yes, he sent that information sheet.
I asked if you could.
I did
You don't need to
already,
be
but I will-
defensive, I'm just
never have.
asking.
would you mind resending it?
I
Because
can
we have-
absolutely resend
We have tons of emails that we're getting, various different things, it probably got buried. If you could resend it, that would be great. So if it sounds like that's the case, then then we could probably do some preliminary stuff to get them there. We would still need, I can double check with the gal from Iowa Workforce regarding the ADA. Cause when I talked to her last time, it was a transition plan, and I'll circle back with her on what she thinks of that.
And confirm the requirements versus not.
Right. There used to be historical exceptions, is my understanding. I think the feds have pulled a lot of those back.
No, they.
So,
Leave it alone. Don't keep the bear in the living room.
well. I think.
Poke the bear, they're gonna make you. Don't poke the
It's
bear.
not a matter of us doing it, the public can file a complaint, Diane.
No one ever has. They know it's historic. You know, I have to go, I have a meeting at noon, and I don't think we're gonna win awards for having 4-hour meetings, so let's
So-
make some decisions.
So regarding the timeline for the RFP for the mold mitigation, I'm thinking, given that we're having this discussion now, if you ladies don't have any other thoughts regarding this RFP, the timeline, my suggestion would be just bump every line item a week. Because when I put this together, it's tight,
A
it's
week
aggressive, but push everything, yes, because I have RFP issued, tomorrow, or
So you're gonna
Thursdays.
extend it a week.
Well,
Okay.
we
Just
could-
move every day
Go
back
ahead.
a week.
Well, okay, wait a second, the
Forward.
seventh is a
Forward.
Thursday, so why don't we make the RFP let on the 12th, which is our regular meeting?
That'd be fine. The same, are we, morning meeting next week?
No,
No.
evening meeting,
So it's gonna have to be the next day.
so let the 13th,
Okay,
and then move it, you shift it.
yeah.
That
So
way.
it's one day less than a week, but everything will move up.
Do you want me to
Back
send
6
you
days.
the public websites that I've used to post the RFP?
Mhm.
Okay. I'll
Yeah,
send
that'd
you
be
that
great.
information. Okay, so I'm fine with that.
So now I'm hesitant to, in tangent with this, get quotes for the restoration piece of this if we don't have determined who's going in there and what. I don't,
Correct.
Well,
that's an exercise in futility.
well,
Yes.
it's an option. So
Well,
they can still quote it as an option, doesn't mean we have to take that option. It's on the RFP
Well,
as an
it's already
option.
on the RFP as an option. We were talking about doing a separate
Oh, a
RFP for the
concurrent.
restoration.
For the
concurrent.
offices and stuff like that.
Yeah, we need to come to determination of who's going where before we invest time and energy in that.
Well, I don't think it hurts getting a quote. Obviously, the time and energy to build the RFP, but I don't think
But to
it
Jess's point, a quote of what?
for
Yeah.
construction, for offices.
So,
Jess is
so
right.
I had previously contracted 3 local providers,
Contacted,
and walkthroughs. I
Okay.
actually got 1 quote back
okay.
for the restoration before all this stuff
Not
happened. To
not
remodel.
remodel,
To remodel,
okay, not
Yeah,
restoration.
including making the bathroom ADA accessible.
Okay,
So, if the board is okay with that, I would prefer, instead of doing an RFP, now this mold mitigation, it's different,
Yes.
because there's not mold restoration or, mitigation companies here, there's one. So I think issuing an RFP publicly for this is sound and the best choice. But for the remodel piece of it, the restoration piece of it, previously I contacted 3 local contractors that the county has used prior. They are local, to walk through and get pricing from them.
okay.
I can do that as well. I can share this information with them. I can get an update from them. I actually have received 1 quote back. It was far less than I anticipated. But I'm happy to pursue that and get pricing from them, but at the same time, I don't wanna waste their time or mine
I agree.
if we're not moving anybody in there, or we don't need to. Is that if we're not planning on doing any of that short term,
It's beautiful.
then just get it mitigated and use it
Right.
for storage.
That's right.
Okay, is that,
But we're in agreement. Don't, it's futile.
well, so,
Unless we're moving Veterans Affairs there,
Okay,
then we can work
do
toward
we, I
that.
mean, do we wanna work towards that, Veterans Affairs go out there, if the bids come back reasonable? Cause that will give him everything he wants. And I'd like to give him everything he wants, if we can.
I'm not for that building. It's not a good, desirable building, but
Well, right now, no, but
I
if
don't,
we can,
it's
if
still
we
not
can,
gonna be.
if
You
we
can put a
can,
lot of money into a really old building that was just a garage
well, it was office spaces at one time,
for EMS,
well,
but it was
still,
yeah.
you know, and I would like to give Veterans Affairs everything they want, if we are able to do that in a reasonable time frame and at a reasonable cost.
And convince him, let him have the courthouse.
Again, that's not his preference.
One week. I think he'll go.
I mean,
Joan would.
I would like to give him what he wants, to give him the quiet and the, you know, if we can. He was open to that, if we can make it the way he and his veterans need. You know, he expressed to me some reasons why they prefer to not be in the courthouse, and he had
But he
a valid point on that. So I don't know if, I think it might be good to see how much it costs, and if it's a lot of money, then we can say, you know what, Thaddeus, this is not something we can do right now.
have him look at the conservation. He's not here, I think he's in Minnesota, but we can have him look. He's never been out there, neither has John. And
So-
if they say absolute no, well, then we're done, but he needs to look at it.
But right now, I think we're at a point right now, because we've kicked the can so far down the road, regardless of what happens, he's gonna have to move twice.
Unless he moves into the courthouse. and
Right.
stays there.
Unless he moves to the courthouse and stays there.
Diane, would you like to have that conversation with him since we've spoken
So he
today?
gets the auditor's office.
What? Talk with him about it? and-
I'll ask.
The elections office side, the
Yeah.
elections office side.
Well, the former public counter space from the old auditor's office, the whole side aside from,
The election side, so that was,
So he gets,
where Michaela used to sit and where, Terry used to sit, those two offices, where Michelle used to sit
and
and
where is he
where
putting
Mac used
Joan?
to
He's
sit.
gonna put Joan where Michaela sat, and then he'll have the front office where the windows are.
He'll have,
The door
he'll have
closed.
my old office.
Your old
The door, the door closing.
and then the vault
And the
would
vault
be
for his
storage,
conference. Well,
or conference
He wants
rooms.
to move his conference table
Right.
in there.
Right, and that can be shared too with, if we end up putting DHS on the other side, they could use that conference office if they had to.
What if DHS shared our office and could we put Sean in the front half of the auditor's office?
Not private or big enough.
Yeah.
But couldn't he go into the conference room though, if he wanted a private conversation? And shut the door?
That's not my call.
Yeah.
See, if you have-
I just know my conversations.
If you have the conference room in the middle for Thaddeus, they're not there that often and they use that at night. So couldn't Sean have that as a
I
private?
think he could. I think he could.
It used to be the auditor's office was, a long time ago, was that.
So how about this? How about we can continue conversations with Sean on that side. I'd like to resolve the Veterans Affairs side. So, I think we need to move forward with RFP, so bring something, for that, for the mediation. I think there's validity in getting quotes. And we don't necessarily have to do a full RFP, that is my preference, but, you know, if you have.
Are you gonna leave Thaddeus up here in the auditor's office? Or are you gonna make him move?
Well, I think we need to move forward on that, and I think at this point though, I don't think we can, to give him all he wants, he's gonna have to move twice. And I don't think he wants to, I know he doesn't wanna do that.
So I'm not gonna call him and say, Thaddeus, we moved to the auditor's office and then we're gonna move you again. You can call him if you're gonna make him move twice.
If that's acceptable to him, then he can stay there.
Leave him in the auditor's office.
If he wants to leave, if he wants to stay in the elections office, then the old elections office, then that's fine. But then we'll have to make sure we have a transition plan in place, so we meet the federal requirements.
I think it'd be smarter to put him there, DHS there, they could share. Maybe we could think about, and then put Mitch, just do the minimal work in the old EMS building. Mitch could have that, that's a good point you made, it's close to everybody he works with. He's right out there with EMS, he's with the sheriff, that's who he works with, they can store all their stuff out there. Do minimal work out there, cause it's not a great back of the building. Make it so, and we could do that pretty cheap.
It wouldn't have to be reconfigured and
No.
redesigned.
It would not, because it's
to
just him.
accommodate Mitch.
correct. And we need to tear off the carpet and paint the walls, and that's minimal.
Oh, yeah.
And we wouldn't have to do any.
Fixtures,
Well, the
and
ceiling,
light
I'd like
switches.
to raise the
We
ceiling.
can tear out a ceiling, we just put in a new ceiling, we can do that.
Well, that was one complaint Thaddeus had, was the lower ceilings in there. I don't think Mitch will complain about those low
Mitch won't
ceilings.
Oh, stop. Anyway, okay, so I think what we need to do is move, get something on the agenda next week for the remediation RFP.
Okay.
If you're okay with her seeking quotes, so we have an idea of how to make that.
She doesn't really want to, do you?
No, I'm okay with that, but I
wouldn't waste
need,
a lot of time.
I need to make sure we're all on the same page on what I'm getting quoted. Or, cause Thaddeus and what he was drawing out yesterday for
That's
me
a
is
big deal.
completely,
Yes.
he's talking about adding a wall on that whole western side half and adding EMS on one side bathroom here. Is that what I'm quoting? getting quoted,
I think we
or?
need the most cost effective that provides the needs that they have and what we're required to do.
So that would be what I initially was getting quotes on from those contractors, was remodeling the current office spaces as they are and changing, and ensuring that bathroom is made ADA compliant. Which is changing the entrance into the bathroom, widening it. It's
But
actually
it would
not that
require,
big
it
of
would
a deal
it would
there.
require crossing the garage.
Well, if Mitch is in there, it won't matter,
If Mitch is in there, we
because
don't
it's
need
his
to.
stuff, it won't matter if he
No, we
crosses it.
should probably still remodel that bathroom though.
Yes.
Yeah, it needs remodeling.
Yeah,
But Mitch, it won't matter if Mitch has to cross the garage, he won't care.
Okay. So either way, it sounds like we can get quotes, and then the board can decide if we wanna put Mitch in there, or we wanna put Veterans Affairs in there.
I think we should move Veterans Affairs, I think you and I are agreement, put them in the auditors and leave them.
well, we're gonna have to have a conversation with Thaddeus about
I
that.
will have to see, we'll see what I can.
But if that's not an option, and there's potential for them to go there, then of course I'm gonna need to get ADA restroom quotes. If we're not
Oh, wait a
going that way.
second,
no,
you should be
no,
getting ADA quotes regardless. That bathroom should be ADA compliant, cause it's a public
Mitch-
bathroom, it's a public bathroom, it has to be.
No, it's
ADA.
not, that's
No,
not a
no, I'm
public
sorry.
bathroom.
But if it's gonna be used by, it's gonna be a public facility, there has to be an ADA
Oh,
compliant bathroom.
nobody would go,
If
no.
emergency management's going in there, I don't see
No.
why it would need to be ADA
It
compliant. Cause elderly services has an ADA compliant
Yes.
restroom in their space that someone could use if needed. Now, you can't get from the warehouse up to elderly services though, that
Right.
doorway is not wide enough, it cannot be widened.
So if we're gonna be remodeling the bathroom anyway, why not make it ADA compliant?
Or you just have to widen the door.
Yeah, why not make it ADA compliant if
Yeah.
we're remodeling it anyway?
Yeah,
Let's just do that.
okay. So if I'm hearing, I'm getting quotes from how I originally approached this is just remodeling the current office spaces in the current configuration, aside from knocking that wall out in those two tiny little areas, that temporary wall needs to go. So I'm getting quotes to remodel those spaces, as far as finishing those spaces after the mitigation, remodeling the bathroom, making sure that it's ADA compliant.
And then
Can
you
they
might
raise
wanna
the
touch,
ceiling too? Can they raise
I
the
can find out.
you might wanna touch base, yeah, you don't know what's up there, you might wanna touch base with Mitch, just get his ideas. Why not, if that's what you're gonna put him out there. And then I will reach out to Thaddeus to see if I can bend him to move up there, stay up there,
You mean the courthouse?
yeah,
I think we need to
that would be okay to have him
ensure that's the case, cause.
there. And then he gets to stay, if I convince him he can stay there, is that how we're looking at that?
I'm okay with him staying there, I'm just going by what he originally
I know.
communicated to me, and I
I'll
want to try to accommodate that.
And the
Awesome.
parking spaces would need to be moved at the courthouse and make sure that they're centralized for veterans and disabled parking right by the center.
And we can do that,
And that's easy enough to
that's
do,
easy to
but.
do. And they're, yeah. And I see people use a ramp all the time.
So, I'll pursue, restoration quotes as well, working directly with these local vendors that we have used before, and the county has a relationship with.
And you'll get 3.
I'm gonna get 3, I've got 3, designated. I'll get this RFP updated to update the notes. I have, I'll work with Mitch on the clean out. I'll
Yeah.
find out if we can get some racks, possibly from, just one rack is probably all we need, from secondary roads. Otherwise, I'll pursue looking at options to purchase a rack. I'll see what totes are gathered down in the basement
The
of the
ones you
courthouse.
saw they're flat, Jess, they're those orange things, what they do is pop up. You
And
probably
they're
didn't
like
even
on the break room table down in the basement?
Yeah, you probably didn't even notice them, because they just pop up.
Okay.
And I don't know, probably, there's a bunch of, I think there's totes in that middle office that has stuff in them, unless the other offices have already taken them, I've got an inventory, so.
So I'm gonna move the schedule that we had to find in the draft for the RFP. I'm moving up for the letting of 5/13, and then I'm gonna stagger and adjust the other dates accordingly.
Okay.
5/13, you said, yeah, 5/13.
5/13. Yep,
RFP, let that, got it, all right.
and then I have, and then I'll define the site visit time. And I'm going to target an afternoon so that it doesn't disrupt elderly services on that, and then I'll manage that. And then I'll work on quotes from these 3 preferred providers.
And you've already been in there with them, right? So they're probably ready to do them pretty quick, yeah.
Okay. Do you think you will have anything, you can have something to the board next week on that?
For restoration,
For the remodeling?
for the remodeling.
It's gonna be more expensive.
That's gonna
because
be,
gas is
pushing these contractors to,
Okay.
And this is gonna be getting to be their busy
oh,
time.
and it's part of, just so you ladies know, as part of that, there's the stairway to go up to the attic.
It's broken.
It's all broken, it needs to be reconfigured so the stairway doesn't stick out into the
Right.
aisle.
Yeah, they used to do that, they took, I don't know why.
Why don't we
It
do
got
the
hit.
pull up one, those that pull down?
Well, what we were talking about is having one that angles down, has a platform, and then angles down another way with removable rails, so that if you wanted to haul something and store something up there, you could do so, and it doesn't come out as far.
You can't put a pull down one? I have pull down ones and you can haul stuff up them.
We can look at it.
Mine are just, you just pull them down and the ladder comes with them, and I have 2 of those. And I can haul heavy stuff, big stuff up there.
We can look at that, but I'm including that in the quote, as well as the bathroom is not exhausted properly to the outside.
Right.
I've got that included as well.
Okay.
So we'll address a few other things, aside from this finishing space.
Okay, so we're ready. Okay, got it.
So on the meeting next week, we can expect a revised RFP for the mitigation of mold only, and subsequently then later, we will do a remodel. That will not be,
Well, I'll see how quickly I can get some back. And then I'll also have a resolution for you for the RFP as well.
yeah, that's,
All right, if you're okay, we can move on to the next agenda item.
Yes, Diane, what time did you say you have a hard stop?
I have to be out here at noon because I have CCOG.
Okay,
It's 10 to 11.
all right,
So,
let's keep moving.
okay, so board policies for decorum.
Yes.
So you had sent us, we had talked about this at our last meeting, you had sent us, alternate phrasing regarding profanity.
Yes.
And, now's the time for us to give feedback on that. Diane, did you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think this is a really slippery slope. Just one county just lost a big lawsuit. I don't like profanity. I think it's unnecessary, but we live in a free society, and we need to be, we have to be careful how we respond to people too. When our voices are raised, that irritates people.
So-
we have to be respectful also.
So the, Jess, you had given us 2 options, so I'm wondering, again, to Diane's point, it's regarding profanity. I don't want it to be used as a cudgel against someone if they're using an occasional word, and future boards say, oh, disruptive, you're out, you used the S word. So I'm wondering if we should tie use of profanity, maybe say profanity in a threatening manner.
But who
Or
gets to
just-
be the
or
word
just leave-
police?
So
or
arbitrary, it's up to
yes.
the,
Right.
I mean.
So I'm wondering if we should, because the key here is a threatening and abusive language. So profanity doesn't necessarily rise to abusive or threatening. Can it be used in an abusive or threatening manner? Yes, but then you can use the threatening or abusive language.
But who gets to
Wording
be the
in it.
word and thought police? I mean, how do you?
It's not a word or thought.
It is
police.
too, because what you take is offensive, I might not.
It's not offensive, it's threatening. And some of the folks up there I took as threatening. And just because you don't, Diane, because it's not directed at you, doesn't mean it's not threatening. You don't find it threatening because it's not directed at you. It's directed to me and Supervisor Hobbs.
And is
So-
that maybe because of how some of the
It
reactions?
does not matter, you have no
It
right to
does
threaten.
matter
You cannot-
how
you
you
cannot-
treat
You
people.
cannot threaten people, Diane. You can't do that, it's not right. So,
So I agree, I don't wanna be booting anybody because a swear word slips, I don't think that was the intention of this at all. So the
so should we
optional,
just leave it at threatening and abusive rather, and then just remove the
you could add
profanity?
excessive or directed or repeated. You could add some verbs if you wanna,
See, the concern here is not the words themselves, the concern is it threatening or abusive? And it's not necessarily also threatening or abusive towards the board. We've had people that have commented negatively about public employees too, in an abusive manner. So I wanna encounter all of that, and I'm wondering if we eliminate the profanity, it eliminates some of the slippery slope, and it just focuses on the purpose of why we need to maintain decorum, and we don't want threatening or abusive language in our meeting. So, because that interrupts the meeting.
It might be easier sometimes to say nothing. Always bringing up stuff and saying, we're not gonna give.
Diane, we were contacted by the attorney for the Vanguard. They requested an official rules of order to maintain decorum because the board has been threatened. This is why we're doing this.
The
So,
board's been
the
threatened.
board has been threatened. It's on tape.
so do we
Oh.
wanna just remove the word profane?
I think so. I think that just opens the door to
Yes,
problems.
remove it.
I think we need to remove it and just maintain, just
Okay.
keep threatening and abusive.
But
and
you've gotta
go
be
from
careful with that too, because you have to be careful.
It's
If
all up
I
for
s-
interpretation, right?
It
And
is,
it's-
because if I say to you, I'm gonna take a gun and I'm gonna kill you, that's a threat. That is an absolute threat.
Well, I'm glad you and I agree on that.
But
So,
no one has ever said that to
I'm
us.
gonna come and find you with knives and pitchforks? That's not a threat?
It was said, it was,
Diane,
no.
literally said, we're gonna come and
I'm going
find
to
you,
come at you,
come and find you with knives and pitchforks. It's on video and it's on audio recording. So,
Okay,
knives
so
and
is the rule
pitchforks.
okay?
Nobody owns a pitchfork anymore.
There's-
Yeah, go ahead.
So
Jess,
is
let's
the
take
rule
profane out.
okay to both of you then, if we just remove the
Yes.
word profane under definition of disruption?
yes.
Okay, and then so in its form, aside from that word,
Abusive language, we have to be very careful, slippery slope again,
yeah,
because if we violate the First Amendment, we will be sued, just like this other
Yes.
county,
well,
and
we
they
haven't
lost.
thus far, let's be
No.
clear.
That's not, but I don't wanna be. so-
Contrary to what our county attorney has said, we have not.
There it is.
But we have
See,
Excuse
that,
me?
we didn't need
What?
to,
do you have something to say?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you have something?
I did not have anything to say. Thank
Okay.
you.
So a disruption includes loud or repeated interruptions, threatening or abusive language, refusal to follow the presiding officer's directives, or any behavior that substantially interferes with the board's ability to conduct the posted agenda.
I'm fine with that. What about you, Diane? Removing the word profane and leaving everything else? Because that's basically all we're doing.
Yeah.
With that particular, does that removal of the word profane?
you can remove it, cause I'll probably vote against it. I think we kind of pick fights by, like, saying things.
Okay,
too.
Diane, I restrain myself in defending myself from the massive defamation that happens repeatedly at that stand. I let it happen, I address it appropriately in my board report. I'm going to continue to do that, and I'm going to do more of it, as a matter of fact, because that's the appropriate time to do so. But if you have issue with this, please tell me what you would like changed, because I would like all of us to be on the same page with this. What else is,
I think, Jess, you're so angry, that it appears so angry that it makes when
yeah,
you
my
speak,
tolerance is wearing thin, you're
Diane,
right.
When you're
it makes
continu-
people so,
Diane.
and then they want to react.
Diane, when you are continually slandered and libeled in public, it kind of gets to you.
All right, this is
And I
fine,
think- I
we
think if-
removed profane, I'm for
I
that,
think
I'll remove
if
profane.
people talked about you that way, I think you'd have an issue with it as well.
But
Oh,
Diane,
they
you
have,
just said
so-
you're not gonna vote for it anyway, and I'm trying
Probably.
to understand what, if there are
If she,
changes you
if she
would
doesn't want to
like.
vote for it, let her not vote for it.
That's fine, but is there another change you would like? I'm
No.
trying to be flexible.
We've
It's
had-
fine, profane, remove profane.
Yeah, we've had a request made from an attorney, that we have a more specific rules of decorum. I'm hoping this gives everyone on the same page on how to behave in a public meeting, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
So, I'm
So I'll
glad
have
we,
a resolution ready, and I'll have this updated form, I'll remove the word profane.
thank you for that. I'm glad we are all on the same page for that. Okay, so the next one is job description for the we moved the handbook to the end. Job description for remaining position of buildings and grounds. I sent you ladies, what, Jeff at Allers had, assisted with. And I apologize I sent it last night. I literally got it last night, so, I apologize for lateness on that.
I like this format a lot better.
We
It's
can go
more
pretty
succinct.
fast on this.
Yeah.
Front page, right in the middle, this is an exempt primary coordination focused role, not a custodial, maintenance, or technical IT. Now, that needs to be changed, because they do have to do some custodial things. They have to move equipment, they have to device.
That would be under manual or hands-on tasks or incidental, generally less than 20% and not central to the role. That's in the last paragraph.
I know, but the not custodial, I would take that out, because it is somewhat.
We can't, because this is an exempt position.
Okay,
So, and Jeff made that very clear. So, and again, and I think I mentioned this at our last meeting, having a specific list of duties, is separate as part of whenever they're hired. They know exactly what their job duties are. A job description is supposed to be more general, not a list of tasks. So, and all those tasks can be encompassed in here. Because what I did is I sent Jeff, what Michelle gave us, and then what I would like, and then he gave his legal opinion, and we kind of moved it all together, and that's what this came up with. This is not completely what I would like, this was his recommendation, so,
So, thoughts, just a few grammatical things, under page 2, building systems, maintenance and coordination. Please change the word to preventive, take out that T in the middle, just to be consistent throughout.
preventive,
And the first sentence, under building systems, maintenance and coordination on page 2.
so
Oh.
document prevention.
And document preventive maintenance.
oh,
Actually, the word should be preventative.
Yeah, it does say
No,
preventive.
it's preventive maintenance.
Yeah.
This is my former industry, and it says preventive further down, it says, you know what, if you wanna use preventative, I don't care, but let's be
it's just a
consistent.
grammar change you're requesting?
Yes, that's
Alright.
it. And then the third bullet says preventive, so just pick one, whatever you guys wanna do.
I don't care
It's
which
fine.
one
All right.
you want, I don't care.
That's just a housekeeping thing.
Yes,
Preventative
so
is
then, another grammatical thing, last paragraph, budget and operational support, prepare annual budget, and remove
Where are you
this
at?
preparation.
Where are you
At the very bottom.
Very
under-
bottom of page 2,
Okay,
budget and operational support category,
okay,
just remove that second preparation word, it's just prepare annual budget for the department. And then, page 3, under reporting, or wait, is that the same page? Yes. Page 3,
Under reporting.
under reporting, it's support documentation for audits and compliance with contracts, scope of work instead of to.
with contracts. Okay.
Yeah.
How about compliance concerning contracts?
Compliance,
Concerning contracts.
Well, the compliance with contracts, you wanna make sure they're compliant with.
Compliance with.
I had put
contracts.
two, and she's asking to change the.
I don't care,
preposition
change it to with, I don't care.
Okay,
so I like the requirements, I think 3 to 5 years is the minimum we would hope for somebody with experience.
with more than that.
I don't know that an associate's degree in facilities management, business, or related field is necessary. I mean, to me, I value experience
Do we wanna
Much
say
more.
or comparable experience? Or no?
I'd be okay with that.
Diane?
Either, I mean, associate's degree, I don't think it should be required to have an associate's degree, and also there's facility management accreditations and other things that they could get, that's gonna be a lot more valuable and applicable than
How about
associate's degree.
associate's degree, certification and or comparable experience in facilities management, business or related? That kind of covers everything.
Yeah, leave it, I think I agree with Jess. I think comparable experience is probably more important in some degree.
I do, I agree
Okay,
with that.
so you wanna
yeah.
just strike that whole bullet, or you wanna just change it or comparable experience?
I would strike that,
Strike it?
I would strike that first bullet.
Who's beeping? Okay.
So, I also like the preferred category, other, boiler certification or other related building system certification, it's definitely preferred.
We're under preferred.
Under
Under
preferred,
preferred,
yeah.
she's looking at the last bullet point.
Boiler certification, other related building, well, they need those.
Well, not necessarily, they could have been working in this field for 20+ years, they may not have the certifications,
Yeah.
formal certifications, but they may have a ton of experience.
So you wanna put boiler experience? Or
Well, no,
boiler-
she was just saying she likes that bullet.
Oh, she likes it.
Yeah.
And I put it under preferred rather than a requirement, because it'd be great if they have it, but if they have the experience and not the certification, I would like to.
And they could get their certification up, with us.
What's right above that, a valid unencumbered, how far are you gonna go? You had a speeding ticket 10 years ago, I mean, how far is that gonna go?
Well, unencumbered means you have a valid driver's license.
That's all you're asking,
Yeah.
got it, alright,
That you can drive and you're not restricted to like,
got it.
so,
Now this individual will be driving county vehicles,
Right.
so are they require a driving record check?
Well, that's what my question was, how far do you wanna, I mean, if they don't have anything wrong,
well,
but
if
they
they have a
have.
suspended license, we can't
Well,
hire
of
them.
course not, they probably wouldn't apply
So we
for
would
it.
probably have to check on that. That would probably be part of the,
Let's say they don't have anything, but they're on SR 22, you gonna hire them? But they haven't had a ticket for a long time. I mean, how far do you wanna,
well,
cause they're driving county vehicles.
this means it's current, so they currently, their
I know, but you
is
could be
current, so I'm
current.
not quite sure what you mean.
You can have nothing for a while, but still, if they pull it up and you're on SR 22, but you haven't had a violation for a long time, that's still a little risky business, so I don't know how far you're gonna, I'm just
Well, if they're
asking.
allowed to drive and they
They're
don't have any
still allowed
issues,
to drive.
So I guess I'm not understanding, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, you don't understand. You want a valid driver's license, but we're gonna have to check this, cause they're driving county vehicles.
Well, I think we do the same, we would have to do this, Kelly, we do the same thing when we hire for secondary roads, right? We check their driver's
Yes,
license.
because
So-
they are they're very restricted.
It's just that, driving records, are checked for like courthouse employees.
Yes.
So, but if they're gonna be using a county vehicle, we don't check their driver's license? Oh,
We need
We
to.
do a background check.
okay, I
Okay,
think we need to
background
make a change of policy then, if they're gonna be driving a county vehicle, we need to make sure.
That's on my handbook note list.
Okay, so we'll probably be changing that policy.
Yeah, but for this position, I think absolutely,
Yeah.
number one, I think there should be a background check for this, because they're in
All-
sensitive spaces.
All employees have
Because you're
background
moving,
checks.
voting
families.
machines, absolutely.
All
But a
of them.
valid driver's license, but I think a driving record check would be warranted.
I'm okay with that, both. That's why I'm asking, how much do you wanna go? I think the driving, because you're holding around sensitive things and you're, okay, so we
I
got
think we're
that
all on the
figured
same
out.
page with that one.
But that's not part of the job description, that's something
No.
we just do as part of the hire process.
Yeah, and a valid unencumbered driver's license covers that,
Yes.
for these purposes.
Yes.
Right.
The
Yes.
details are gonna further be discussed regarding the handbook and those policies,
Mhm.
right?
Correct.
But we don't have that a driving record will be checked either. do we need to add that?
Well, valid, unencumbered, when she does a background check, have her check all of
It's
that.
a job description.
Job description.
Yeah.
It's
She's
not
talking
our-
about the job description, should we add,
Oh,
you're asking we should add, a driving record will be checked on here?
I wonder,
Or good, I mean, how do we
or not.
define that though? I mean, if you get a speeding ticket
no,
6
Kylee
months
has
ago.
something to say,
Kelly.
Kelly.
I'm just kind of thinking it through.
Yeah.
I don't know that you have to put that in the job description.
don't put it
I
in.
mean, to me, it'd be an assumption,
Yeah.
but you don't wanna do that either, so.
Yeah.
But don't put it in,
Okay.
and she can, don't put it in there, just don't.
I
Okay.
can check with Jeff if you
Yeah.
wanna get.
Yeah, that's just
Okay.
just a specific, here's your specific example, right? And how do we navigate that? And then, and what will come up in our handbook discussion is then, okay, if people who are driving county vehicles, are we doing an annual driving record check, just to check and balance? Do we need to, I mean,
I think what we probably should do is that's something we should discuss in the handbook, is doing, anyone who drives a county vehicle, we do an annual check of the driving record.
okay.
So, all right,
I think
anything
the rest is
else?
great, and this was a, more simplified, more general, which is appropriate for this. And to the point earlier, we can, the more job specifics, that's kind of a separate thing, right? And to make sure that we have those tasks covered.
And since it is exempt, there's no overtime. And the position would be a similar position as Brady and Ryan and Mike, in which case this position would report to the supervisors. Because it's an exempt position. So, that's how I put it in here. And we'll be talking about compensation time and all that other, for salaried employees as we get to the handbook. So, anything else, on here? Add,
Just,
subtract?
no, I'm okay with this. With Michelle, is there anything that you see that's not included in this latest version?
I do not.
But reporting directly to the board of supervisors, we're here so rarely.
Well,
I
we
mean-
don't, Brady reports to us, Mike reports to us, Ryan reports to us. The only reason we moved it to Michelle is because the current position requires overtime approval. So, and this is being exempt, there's no overtime. So they're a manager, they can manage themselves and then they just.
And that would be my only feedback, was I think that they should continue to report to the auditor, but nothing nothing I'm ready, I mean, it's to your discretion.
We're in and out.
But
so
that's
much.
just my opinion, is
Mine
because the
too.
day-to-day,
Right.
I think is
I mean,
important.
the person would work with you, obviously, just like, Brady works with other departments, Ryan works with other departments, Mike works with other departments. But it would, like all those three, they roll up to us.
All right, we
Because
could be
they're
their
salary.
supervisors, their managers. She could be their direct day-to-day contact.
Well, she would be the direct day-to-day contact because she's a department head, just like, all our department heads work together. So I don't think there's a.
But there's a
reporting structure.
closer collaboration with the auditor than there is
Yes.
the other department heads, though.
I agree.
Yes.
To that point.
Yes.
So,
But we kind of have the building split up amongst us. So, and define who's responsible overseeing, for each building. So then that would be, okay, there's a problem at,
this person would have to, like, if, just hypothetically, public health. If there's a problem at public health, this person would come to me, since I'm the person of public health, saying, what should I do? If it's a problem with the courthouse, they'd come to you and Michelle, because they're the ones who do the courthouse. So, emergency management, it'd be you. So I think that's a good point.
Okay, that's,
Do you
so-
want to say then,
It would still be the board of supervisors, and then we would just, whoever is in this position, we would, as a board, I shouldn't say we, the board would direct, this is the person you talk to when, if there's a building issue with the EMS building, this is the person you talk to if there's a issue with the courthouse. But the reporting structure would still be the board of supervisors, just like the other three guys that report to us.
yeah.
Just from, so.
that was my only comment.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You, that's
Okay, so what I have down for, and I'll make the changes requested, there's 2 housekeeping items on page 2. The preventative and the prepare was redundant. Page 3, change 2 to with for contracts. Page 3, strike the first bullet on, under minimum requirements. And then page 4, there was a question about the driver's license, but we don't know if we wanna really put that in here, so, Kelly, you were gonna talk to Jeff. I don't think we need it to be in here, I think it just needs to be part of our policy, but,
I agree with that.
Check it out.
And
so, does it,
Have
okay,
Kelly
so yeah, I
check.
guess you don't need to talk to
I
him,
guess, and
but we do need to talk to him
What,
about,
Michelle?
I don't wanna interrupt.
we do need to talk about having it in the handbook.
Yes.
But I think it sounds like we have consensus that we don't need it to be in the job description. So I will strike
Well,
that.
but they have to have valid driver's license.
Well, that's in here.
That's still in there, the valid,
Yeah.
unencumbered.
It's the report, checking the report, but I think to
So
your
you're
point,
striking, I'm confused, you're leaving this in.
no, we're leaving it in.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, we're leaving it in. Okay, so,
Michelle had something.
So
Sorry.
where do you feel that, transportation of elections equipment falls into here? I guess that's,
Yes,
let's
I
just
thought
get,
it was
in
let's
here,
just get
and
that
it's
straight.
not.
I mean, sure it is,
I think it
but if
was
I
in
cannot
there.
go back to my office if I do not get that clarified.
I
Let me
thought
know.
I saw it, but maybe,
It might have been something that Jeff wanted more generalized.
And that's fine, just where is that?
There's a facility of preparation and cleanup for elections, I just did a search, hold on, let me find it. Okay, it's under public use and seasonal support tasks, bullet number 1, assist with facility preparation cleanup for elections, events, and other county operations.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep, it's
Where-
covered.
Where?
So that is on page, what page am I on
Is
here?
that 3?
It's under, yeah, public use and seasonal
Ah,
support
I see.
tasks.
Okay.
Yep, it's covered.
I knew it was here.
Sorry, there were several iterations I went through with Jeff, so.
That's,
So, yeah, okay, all right, so that's in there. Okay, so it sounds like there's just minimal changes, so I will get those minimal changes corrected and get an updated thing out for you guys for us to approve by resolution next week.
And then post it immediately following that, so next Wednesday it would be posted.
Well, no, because our meeting's in the evening, and it's too late for it to post in the paper by then.
Facilities and operations manager, that's the title.
Oh, are you guys
everybody
okay with
agrees
the title, Facilities and Operations Manager?
yes, that's fine.
I know you wanted building, but I think facilities sounds a little bit more.
It does, but you say facility manager and you're gonna be.
You know why?
People are gonna assume you're at a lot higher pay scale
You're
than
right,
this.
change it to building.
Agreed.
She's right,
Building and
Maybe
operations
industry.
manager?
building and yes.
Okay, let me make a note.
Yeah, a facility manager, there's professional accreditations for that. and they can-
Diploma.
Well, yeah,
And those are
We are
high.
just not-
they can validate $100,000 plus,
Yes.
so. Yeah, I
Change it
like
to
building.
and operations.
Okay.
manager.
Yeah.
All right, I will change that, I have that to my list. Okay.
Can we use the word manager, or do we have to use,
We can use manager according to
there
Jeff.
was something according to the,
I always understood that you use the word manager if they're actually managing people. This person wouldn't be managing people, but they are managing vendors.
And yes, so that's where you get the word.
So that's where, to
manager.
me, that's where I reconciled it in my mind that yeah, it's appropriate.
Yeah, you don't have to manage people. What makes it exempt is, I mean, this is an administrative exemption, because there's 3 different ones. I have to look at his email on how we can keep it exempt. So administration can include the management of vendors.
Okay. Okay.
So, I will change that title, add that to my list to update. Our meeting next week, Jess, is an evening on the 12th, and that's too late to get into the paper. So it would be in the paper the following week.
The following,
We can still post to the website, it just won't be in
yeah,
the
that's what I
paper.
was,
Yeah, we can still post to the
it
website.
could be posted to the website Wednesday, for that matter, and then the paper would be the following Wednesday.
Correct.
Does that work for you, Sean?
It sure
The
does.
posting, okay.
It absolutely does.
Okay.
We'll make a note of that. Thank you.
I will get that out, okay, so. Let's move back to the agenda. Okay, so if we are good with that, the next one is the authorized representative for directed services and with solutions. This was a request that came from, as you folks are familiar with, from the solutions attorney. And the requested amendment to the solutions contract was to designate an authorized representative for requests. It is not, if you guys have read through that, you can see it's not just for open records. There's a lot of other stuff on there that they wanted. It looks like they've been asked to do quite a few tasks that are normally outside their normal business. So they wanted a designated person. I've been working with Michael back and forth. I think we have a final draft. We're just kind of waiting for both parties to agree. So this here is, my recommendation was not to put a title and a name because people change. So what I recommended, and I asked Michael and he concurred, is to use a title on here. So he was in agreement. The solutions attorney was okay with that. But the one thing they did request, and this is language that Michael's working on, is to make sure that any changes to that are approved by the board. And then if there is and it's done by resolution. Okay, and then we have to
That
run.
can be stated in that, in the document.
Right, and then we have to run it through with them and make a change and that kind of stuff. So all that kind of language is worked out. And then I'm hoping to have a final draft today, and I can get that to you guys. But right now, the decision is who do we want as that title to run into solutions on that.
And for clarification, this is the IT side.
This is the IT side. Correct. Yes.
Well, I
But-
guess if I get an open records request, I want to be able to work directly with solutions. There may be reason, and there has been in the past, not to funnel it through other county employees.
Okay. So.
You're saying handle it yourself?
So what I'm hearing is
Yeah.
you want any board member to be authorized, to be the authorized representative.
Yes, to be able to contact solutions directly.
Or any department head?
No,
No.
that's not, unless that's what you're saying.
No,
Okay, so you're saying that any board member can make a request, because you've read through all the requests, all the different things that it's out, based their long list, they've had different things that they've been requested. And I think they just kind of had it up to here with all the peppering, and they want a single, I think I can go back to them with that. But the sense I got from their attorney was they want a single funnel. Now,
well, I think that's applicable in most cases. I'm saying there's going to be, I want some wiggle room if there's a special circumstance and a special sensitive matter, that I want that option to work direct. I think the majority, 99% probably, can all go through the single point of contact. But, I would hope that they would understand there might be matters that are sensitive in nature that may not be appropriate to go through the single point of contact.
What about if it's a sensitive in nature that the board designates a temporary contact in that
Oh,
situation?
that gets so complicated.
I know, I'm just
No.
throwing it out there,
If it's really sensitive in nature, it would probably have to go through HR or the attorney, if it's real sensitive,
I can go back to them and say they want any board member,
Maybe
but-
you can express Hobbs's concern and say, what would you recommend? And see if they have a suggestion for that.
Yeah.
I think the overwhelming majority, the single point of contact, it's gonna be appropriate for that to happen. But I've had a few cases where I'm not turning it over to anybody, I'm working directly with solutions because it's a very sensitive matter.
Okay. What they did tell me is that since it's a contract with the board is the one that makes the determination. So, I can take that back to them and see if they'd be amenable to that.
Well, if the single point of contact is the board chair,
Oh.
then
And then with future board, it would fall to that chair. So keep in mind.
Yeah.
So, I think it'd be, since the board is in charge of the contract, I think it's appropriate that it be a board member. I don't know if it'd be, it might get complicated to have 3 people doing it, but again, it's a board decision.
Here's what I'll say, if the single point of contact is the board chair, I'm okay with that. If the single point of contact that we land on is someone else within the county, I'm saying I want a clause, I want an option, I want an opt-out, if there's some reason why I wanna work directly with solutions and go around that person. If the chair is handling it all, I mean, that should all be funneled through and sensitive matters are handled.
So here's the thing, is what I don't want is the chair to be the management of all this.
No.
Because it could get very, I'm speaking from experience, it could get very labor intensive. We talked about last week is they're the funnel, they get the request, they send the ticket to solutions, they get the response, they forward it to the person that is originally requesting it. Done. Is that okay?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Say it again, I have to chew on.
So say someone submits an open records request to you, okay? You would send it to the chair. The chair would submit the ticket to solutions. Solutions would respond to the chair. The chair would send it to their response to you. You would be the custodian then to manage all that. Okay, that's just the instance of open records. If you looked at the contract amendment they're requesting, there's a heck of a lot more information that they've been required to produce. Much more labor stuff, much more, there's a lot more things in there, based on their list, it sounds to me that they've been required and requested to do.
So, I thought the auditor was the custodian.
That's what I,
It is the auditor's
The-
custodian of
The
records.
custodian of records,
Records.
but your emails, for instance, she's not the custodian of those, you are.
Right.
So I would hope that the person that gets the open records request knows who the proper custodian is and sends it accordingly. So like if you get an open records request for, I don't know, Max emails, okay, a former employee's emails, you would send it to me, I would send it to you, you would send it to her to manage.
can I ask why you would even need to go to solutions
Is
for
she-
something like that?
Just
I mean,
give it
you would
to
have
them.
custody of your own emails.
Yeah.
She was talking about another employee's emails, I wouldn't have access to those.
Yes, so say a member of the public went to her
Sure.
for that.
So you have access to,
Max emails.
Yes.
to your employees' emails?
Yes.
Right, the reason why, and I think I explained it last meeting, the reason why I've been submitting tickets to solutions is I wanna make sure everything's captured, regardless, if it's deleted email, if it's stuck in a sent thing, something, I wanna make sure we capture everything, so we can't be accused of violating open records.
Mhm.
That's just an example, the list on the amendment that they
Understand.
requested was a lot more than.
And I don't think I have, do I have that?
I don't think they included you on that, they just included the board and.
Okay. Then I would,
the
I
attorneys.
really can't weigh in.
So anyway, so that's just for that. Obviously, the other things on the list that they listed is well beyond that. That would just be an example for that, because I don't wanna be managing, speaking as a chair, I do not wanna be managing everybody's open
No.
records requests.
I think that over 99.9% of the requests could go through
I agree. Go through the
Go
And
order.
I have a database and a log. If I know about the request, it's there. It's like how it was satisfied,
So
what
for,
I did with it. I mean,
so in the case of an open records request, what I'd probably do, is, say you got the request, you sent it to me, I sent it to solutions, I would probably send it back to you and to her, copy you both.
but there are times she probably doesn't want
Okay.
involvement.
The
Why don't
overwhelming
you-
majority of my
I
open
get it.
records requests, I just do myself, cause they're regarding my communications, so I just send them. But if I can just send them off to Michelle, and if there's something solutions related, I'm willing to do that, I just want to know, I have an option if there's a special circumstance.
So I think that I'm okay if you guys, I mean, as speaking as chair, and I don't wanna speak for the future chair, but I'm assuming the future chair would not wanna, you know.
No.
So
I don't
I
know.
think, cause all I wanna do is submit the ticket, get the ticket, be the funnel that solution is requested, be the funnel, and then basically push the response off onto
So
whoever it is.
you want to be the one contact person.
Well, I don't wanna be managing everything, because open records, I don't know if you've done it, Diane, it is a pain in the butt.
I know, but you want
So-
everything to come to you and
To
then
the-
you'll funnel it out.
Well, she had requested to come to the chair, otherwise she wants that.
No, I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
No,
So
let
I
the
think,
auditor do it.
no, I don't, I think we need to, I think it needs to, I agree with her, I think it needs to stay with a board member. Since the contract is with the board.
So you want it to be you.
I'm not saying I want it to be me.
I'm not gonna do it.
So, but if it is me, I just wanna be the funnel. I don't wanna be managing all the stuff. And I'm okay with that, and I'm hoping the future chair will be okay with that. But we need to provide solutions, cause right now, I think the reason why we're getting this amendment is because, they've been inundated by requests from various different parties, and, some of the behavior has been inappropriate by some of those parties.
Would this give you access to their emails?
No, I'm just submitting the ticket. So yeah, so I can go back to them with that. And we can, and I can say it'd be any board member, if they're okay with that, because that sounds like that's your ideal request. And
I'm fine funneling it all,
with the chair,
through the auditor, but there's special circumstances like I was talking about, and there are records requests specific to the board, unrelated to the auditor department or the rest
so
of the
let me
company, so-
let me go back to them and see if they're okay with, having
An exception.
the board, and if not, then a single point. So,
Okay,
are you okay with it being the chair? Do they want a single point?
no, I think because you can't release any kind of information for court systems or probably HR,
This has nothing to do with that.
this just, oh,
Diane,
you just
I'm
got
not the one that caused this, okay? I'm not the one that triggered this, okay? There's some issues going on that the board is not aware of, that solution now needs a single point of contact. So, and some of the behavior by one particular person, I think is what's triggered it. So, I will go back with that request, and
as long as,
okay, so, I will go back with that request. I'm okay being the funnel. I personally think it should be the whole board can go to them, since it's our contract. So if a board member feels there's an issue, they should be free as an equal board member to go directly to solutions. But I'll see if they're okay with that. I think that would alleviate your issue, and that would protect the authority of all the board members, because we're all equal. Just because I'm the chair doesn't mean we're all equal, and I wanna make sure we protect, each individual authority.
basically, we're a clearinghouse then, and,
Correct, the board's
on where it needs to be directed to the appropriate.
correct, the board serves as the clearinghouse. Okay, I will go to them and see if they're okay with that, and I'll run it by Michael too, to make sure he's okay with that. Okay, the next one is the county contract signing policy. I sent you, the sample resolution, for that. This has been reviewed by, the board, council, So I just didn't know what you guys think about that.
I think it looks good.
I think it's clear, it makes it clear, what our authority is. It will hopefully prevent any violations of IO code going forward. Obviously, if employees choose to violate the resolution and Iowa code, we'll have to visit that down the road, but hopefully everyone is on the same page going forward on this.
Yeah, the only thing I thought about is, so what are the consequences if they violate this?
You'll have to say what the consequences are. If you
Not in the
violate it, this
resolution,
is
that's
what.
an HR thing, if it's an
That's an
employee.
HR
That's
thing.
an HR thing.
Yeah, it might be something to consider on the handbook discussion, just.
Right, obviously, if it's an elected official,
Nothing.
there's nothing we can do other than, notify the vendor that this was signed without our authority and.
But if it's in their budget, they can do it.
So I guess,
No.
did you remove the apportionment and within 1 year and things that are approved in the budget?
Yeah, all contracts have to come to us under this one, all of them.
It's supposed to go to the county attorney first, too, all of the contracts,
Or
to be reviewed.
Or designated, if we designate somebody else.
So does that mean then,
You're not an attorney, we're not
you're
attorneys.
then are on a, let's just say an auditor's specific contract, you will not let us have the attorney review it, you're gonna send it to your board attorney, is that?
No,
I
well,
wanna be clear on that.
if the board determines to run it by them, according to this here, it would go to the county attorney or,
the board directs legal review otherwise.
yes, if we direct a different legal review, then we can direct a different legal review.
Either way, it's
or-
legal review.
Yeah, either way, it's a legal review. So if this board or a future board decides the county, and we'll approve it with the county attorney's blessing, or if we decide, this board or a future board decides we're gonna go through a different legal review, like say for instance, in the matters of employment, I would like Allers and Cooney to review it, not necessarily the county attorney. Or a union contract, I want Allers and Cooney to review it, not our county attorney. So it'd be something that we still have power over, it doesn't necessarily mean it goes to the county attorney. But that gives us, it protects the authority of the board here. So yeah, so all contracts, to your point, Diane, all contracts would have to come to the board for signature approval.
I have a question. I was a little concerned about, just like the investments and that sort of thing.
Right.
There's an Iowa code, 12C, it makes the treasurer the investment officer and
Mhm.
specifies that, what we can and can't invest in and for how long. There's not a lot of things that I have that are more than 12 months, that sort of thing. But, I just wanna say that
So there is a
making sure
bullet under exclusions, I
Right.
believe that's addressed.
I know, but I'm just saying that, making sure that you guys are being in compliance with the Iowa code on that, because that,
So you're asking us, you need the authority, if you have to change something or invest it, to do it.
right.
Yeah, that you don't,
Because-
you can't wait for us, you have to get it done. Is that what you're
Right,
saying?
because in
Yes.
that policy, I kind of sent it out, because I was a little concerned about the wording in the investments and that
That's what
kind of
I'm
thing.
concerned
and
about.
Where,
It was hard.
what part
It
are
was
you,
a little,
what part are you talking about?
let me pull it up again.
Under
There
number
was a
one,
little-
contract
There were
approval.
some red flags that some of the other treasurers said. Sorry, I have to get to that. They were concerned about as well.
So, there is an exception to where, additional categories approved by resolution by the Madison County Board of Supervisors. So we can certainly do a resolution to clarify that for you. But I believe that, I believe there's already a resolution that gives you that power, and we have to do that every year. So I think that would be covered, but, you can double check that out for me, Kylie?
This is getting kind of micromanaging, I mean, she has, yeah,
So-
she has to do her job, and if the sheriff has to re-up those radio contracts, that's in his budget, he has to do that.
And if we approve it, then that's not a problem.
But that's
So-
part of the thing
Yeah.
though, and I understand what,
Do you understand why we're doing this?
No,
I completely understand
Okay.
it. I completely understand it and don't think that I don't.
Okay.
I mean, hello, why wouldn't I understand it?
Yes.
I mean, I know.
You more
we're-
than anybody.
Thank you. Thank you, I know that, so
So-
I kinda can't believe that you just asked that. But in a way, it's one of those moments though, at the same time,
So are you opposed to having a resolution for it?
yes.
Yes.
Because,
Why?
she
Yeah.
needs to do her
Wait.
job.
because in a way,
Because we do that.
because there are people that are actually doing their job,
Understood.
and that I wish that you would trust,
Yes.
But
and yet you're
Kylie,
not.
Kylie, this last year and a half,
She's
would
not
thi-
the same
I would thi-
person.
let me finish, please. This last year and a half, we as a county have been subjected to a lot of stuff. And I wanna make sure that the public knows that the board is providing proper oversight as necessary. There are a lot of things that we have to renew every year on other things in all departments. We do it for secondary roads, we do it for your office, we do it for the auditor's office. We do all kinds of things where every year we have an annual resolution to renew
Right, but
things.
secondary roads can do what they want, because that's in this.
Because they already have it, they have federal aid swaps, state aid swaps, that's existing. But we also do resolutions every year for them too. We have to do that every year. Just ask Mike. He puts it before us every single year, so he has that authority. So we can do that every single year to make sure that you have that authority as well. So we can just add that as an additional level of oversight that we're tasked under Iowa code to provide. So we're not telling you you're not doing your job. It's not a matter of distrust. It's a matter of oversight. Because a lot of things have happened this last year and a half, the board was completely unaware of, that cost the county money. So I don't want that to continue. And this is a way to show the public that we are doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're asking our department heads to submit things to us so we're aware of what's being spent, that it's proper funding and that kind of thing. So we do things with you already by resolution every year, and we can do the same thing. I mean, it's a bullet point right on here. Any additional categories approved by resolution of the Madison County Board of Supervisors. So if you have things that you have to approve every year, you have to do every year, just put it before us. I don't see the issue.
Could we put in there, any expenses approved by budget? Could we put that in there?
We still need to have the contract looked at.
Well,
I
So,
think we agree with that.
right, but I would like the board to see it before, because we're gonna be signing it. Because signatory under Iowa code is with us. So what I don't want
It's not
is
like
us to not be
reading
aware
law,
of things.
Case law, but, okay.
So, we need to make sure that the board is aware of things that's been committed to, because we can ask questions then. So, just in the example of, if we make a purchase, say it's covered by a grant, but yet it obligates us every year for a license renewal or something like that, the board needs to know that that's gonna be on future budgets. If we don't see the contract in the beginning, we don't know to ask those questions.
How about the duplicate mail machine?
yeah,
That's
That was
another
purchased.
example.
If that had come before the board, it could have potentially been caught
Correct.
and not duplicated, and we ended up in what, a 5-year contract
Yeah.
for that deal?
yes.
And the same thing with the cameras. Had we been aware of that, we would ask the question, have we looked at well, I would ask the question, have we looked at the servers? Have we validated that servers can handle these additional cameras? And now we're obligated to upgrade a server that we weren't planning on, had we not had those cameras. I'm not saying the cameras are not a good ad, I'm not saying that at all. I think it was a good decision. However, we could have put the whole thing out to bid, we could have done it more strategically, rather than catching up and behind the 8 ball right now. So this is why I want things to come before the board, so we're at least have some kind of knowledge of what's going on in the county. Since we're gonna be held accountable for that, no other department heads can be held accountable for that.
I understood from legal counsel from last year that it was contracts were required to come to the board.
Correct. They are required to come to the board.
so that, if that's non-negotiable, then if Kylie wants some, you know, some reassurance that she's not gonna be impeded, well, let's address that. But in general, contracts need to come before the board. Can we all agree on that? Or
I would
are
say
we
so.
splitting
I think-
hairs on that
I
still?
think we learned last year and a half that that was what we're supposed to be doing.
Repeatedly.
Mhm.
Repeatedly. Are there certain, Kylie, help me understand, are there certain investments or things like if you have a CD that expires or something, there's a timeliness to it?
Yeah,
Walk me
like I
through
said,
that.
I haven't gotten into that, like, I don't have anything that is over a year, but that's just something that when I saw that and I was like, oh, and it just kind of sent up a red flag in my mind, and then I sent it out to, 4 other treasurers and was like, hey, what do you guys think about this? Is this something that I should be, you know, bringing to attention, or maybe having it like worded a little differently, or, you know, what do you guys think on this? And they're like, yeah, you know, I wonder about this too. And then someone brought to my attention that, that Iowa code and said that to me. And so I was like, oh yeah, I wanna make sure I'm saying it to you guys so that there's no breaking of the Iowa code as well.
I think we can resolve any concerns if we just do an annual resolution for the department heads, just like we do for secondary roads, of ongoing authority where we're delegating authority to you. Cause I think Mike still brings stuff before us to sign, at least I've signed a lot of his stuff. But I think if we get a process into where we're just doing this annually, so the board knows exactly what's going on in the county, I think we can alleviate those concerns. Because there is an exception in this proposed resolution. So what I would, if you would kind of think about what you need to do on that, and then maybe put a resolution together, cause then we can get that done right away.
So Kylie, I'm on a board that we have to have millions of dollars for post-closure and open closure, millions of dollars. She constantly has to reinvest that, and the board reviews them. We ask that we get the highest interest we can, we search around for it, and then we trust her when it's due to do it. Okay, that's what you're wanting, I mean, because we
I
can't
mean, I hope that's what you
micromanage.
guys, yeah, I hope that's what you guys are
Well,
trusting me,
no,
because that's what I'm doing.
Yes, alright,
Yeah.
I understand.
So if she can give us a list of all the stuff that we need to delegate to her, just like Mike does, I don't have an issue with
Just to
that.
define it, so you don't have to worry about getting in at a supervisor meeting, it's just, you just got.
Cause, the fact that the last CD was not reinvested, that was a surprise to us. Didn't even know that was a thing. So I think it would also help the board and future boards be educated on everything that the department heads do. So say for instance, something's missed, we're like, hey, we haven't gotten that renewal for that CD in a while, where is that? We could have asked that question. So it kind of helps us all work together.
Yeah.
So, but I appreciate you bringing that up, it's a valid, I was hoping the exception on there on the resolution would address that. So we can certainly talk about that more if you want. Okay, other than that, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's good. So just tighten that part down and making sure.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put that on the agenda for next week. So on the agendas for next week so far is the RFP, the job description, and then the contract renewal. Is that?
And meeting decorum.
And meeting decorum. So there's gonna be 4 so far.
And Jess, I created a resolution covering your RFP, is that okay? Just change the date
Yeah,
on it?
let me look at it one more time. First patch, yeah, I thought that would be great. So I wanna review it when I'm gonna focus.
Well, it just really says see the attached, so it's not.
Yeah,
much to it.
it's pretty
It's like,
general.
I don't know what else I would do with it.
Yeah, I
Just
like
the
short,
date.
I like short resolutions.
I think it'll be fine, I haven't looked at it since last week, so.
Okay,
So there's 4 coming from SPB.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, okay, so
Okay.
that leaves us to.
10 minutes to,
Yeah,
Handbook revisions.
so,
Actually, of about 6 minutes.
We might,
So
that's why I
we're-
put this at the end, because I have a feeling it's gonna be long.
we're gonna need, I think we need just a special meeting just for the
Just for
handbook.
handbook?
It's gonna be lengthy, we need to walk through the whole thing. I think it's too much to pack it into a regular board meeting. So, and I know we have this other hearing we need to get scheduled. So maybe we can get those 2 items, handbook rescheduled, hearing scheduled.
Well, the public hearing is for the ordinances,
That's completely separate.
yeah, so. but
Just
yeah,
pick a
so-
date for your special handbook date. Let's do
but
that
if it can
now.
be on the same day, I mean,
Yeah, it
that way
can
we're,
be.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's this back and forth
Yeah.
and just,
Yeah.
It's a ministerial matter and
Well, in this
clearly
case-
it's cumbersome to try to do this via email. So we're
I
all
don't
sitting in
wanna-
the same
Well,
room.
Well, keep in mind though, we scheduled the date and we didn't realize there was a conflict.
All right, come on, let's
So-
just move on.
So
Let's schedule
what
the
I
date.
need to do, what I'd like to do is get the meeting scheduled and.
I've got the calendar right in front of me, guys.
Okay. Good. So we have a regular meeting on the 12th. Do we want to have, this as a the handbook on that day, or do we wanna push it?
Let's go the hand, I don't care, just say.
Cause it'd be a 6 o'clock meeting, we could do like we've done in the past, we could do like a 3 o'clock with a break for dinner, or 4 o'clock with a break for dinner.
So go
Or
3
we
to
can do a
4.
completely different day, too, depending on everybody's schedules.
There's a safety steering meeting at 1 PM that day that sometimes runs longer.
Okay.
So 3 would be the latest we could start, but then, you know, we're kind of packing it in there.
Yeah, we are.
What about the morning of the 12th?
I'm free.
That would work good for our new board clerk.
And then, you know, I just have a hard stop at 1, but that gives us a little bit of cushion and wiggle room there.
So let's
So like
go,
do like 9:30 on the 12th?
Yeah.
Or just keep it stable?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's the handbook session, right? Does that work for Kelly, Michelle?
Kelly, does that work for you?
Absolutely.
And I don't have anything booked for the conference room at that point on the
Yay.
12th.
Okay, so now how do we wanna schedule for the public hearing on the ordinance?
well, we have to do that one so
Start-
she can post.
Start, yeah, with the deadlines.
Well, I
and
wanted
how-
him to check the meeting the room availability, because I don't wanna have it double booked again. So what date do we wanna do that on?
Well, okay, let's be clear, it has to be after the 20th to hit the posting deadline, or is it the 21st? What's the earliest we could schedule that, I guess, let's get that
Well, we
clear.
originally had 19th, so we need to push it.
Push it a day,
So
or
do we
2?
wanna do it on the 26th, which is a morning meeting?
Okay, that's
It's the
very,
day after
it's
Memorial
very
Day.
agreeable to me, because again,
And consolidated with a normal, cause it shouldn't, I
Let's
don't know,
pick,
we could
let's
get
pick
some
Tuesday
comments,
the
but-
26th, what time?
no, it's actually, guys, I believe it's gonna be, the 25th is a Tuesday. And that's
No.
the 4th.
No, May
No,
26th.
May
is
26th
May?
is.
Oh.
The 25th is a Memorial Weekend.
Sorry,
So Monday we
I
don't
went
have
too many
work.
months out.
So just included,
At our
I'm quoting
regular
it up
meeting?
with our regular meeting on the 26th for the public hearing for battery storage and data centers, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I
If
just
that
didn't
works.
want it, I just didn't want it on an off day, since it's an ordinance change, I wanted to where
So our
Yeah.
regular meeting's at 09:30, so we'll do this,
we just do it as a
Do it
regular public
Within the meeting.
We'll do it in the
within
meeting. So it's gonna be May 26th, 09:30, regular meeting, we're having.
I like it, looks
Got
good.
it.
Okay,
Did you
so
get that down?
Tuesday the 12th at 9:30, handbook work session.
Yeah, got it.
And then, Tuesday, May 26th, public hearing for the ordinance
This is
changes.
the, ordinance hearing.
That sounds great.
Great.
Okay, are we good?
Okay,
So
I'm
we're
gonna
going
go
to
your
adjourn.
vote.
I'm leaving.
Did you move to?
she just
I
moved
move
to
to
adjourn.
adjourn.
I'll second that.
Any further
Can I
discussion?
please get a signature on this?
Yes.
Yes.
All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned, thank you, everyone.
Sorry, I have to run the rest.